Hello, and welcome to session number 4 of the Unsung Tales, a One Ring 2nd edition role-playing actual play on the HappyJacksrpg network. To find all the sessions of this game, you can visit happyjacks.org/unsungtales, and to find all of the shows on the HappyJacksrpg network, you can visit happyjacks.org. It's the best job I've ever done of doing that. Okay. My name is Kimi. I am your Loremaster for this game. Please know that we have done lines and veils, and we have X cards on the tables so during play, so we do have safety tools in place. And let's go ahead and go around and introduce our players and our characters. Let's start at Samantha today.
It's me. Hello, I'm Sam. I play Runa of Bree, who is a Barding treasure hunter, and she likes to Hulk smash things.
Yeah.
She does it very well.
Yeah, she did a good job last time.
Hi everybody, I'm Kai. I'm playing Aerlind of Mithlond, who is a elf of Lindon. I use he, they, she pronouns. Aerlind is he, they pronouns, and boy, he's just he likes books, guys, and boats. Things that begin with B. We're doing great.
Hi everybody, I'm Jay, he, him, and I am playing Burl Sausage Brandy-bottom, a Hobbit of the Shire and a messenger, and spear wielder extraordinaire. Let's leave it at that and see how we do today.
As long as the dice say okay.
Yep.
Hi everybody, I'm Kadave. I'm playing Hannar, a dwarf of Durin's folk. Both of us are he, him. And Hannar is erstwhile treasure hunter, but he's generally not so good at it, apparently. Most of his treasure hunting hasn't gone super well, but it's okay, you know. One day that score will come in and it'll be great.
It'll be fantastic, yes. All right. A short recap of last time. Would you all like me to do it? Would you like to do it?
I can't do a short recap,
Okay.
so I think you should.
I mean, you can do like a... Go for it.
I have too many pages.
Oh, you have many pages. Okay.
Yeah,
Samantha is our
I
amazing
write
note
all the
taker.
things.
So last time you had arrived in Creek's Crossing, and there was like some weird stuff going on. There was an election that was coming up, and you were asked to find out who was stealing all the materials that were being used to rebuild the bridge, which back in time, the bridge got burned down in our backstory creation. So it's something that's really hurt the Creek's Crossing because they're kind of like focus on like that bridge and people coming through because there's a bridge there and things like that. So that being burned down was a big problem for the town. So they've been working on rebuilding it, but those materials have been disappearing. So you all came and helping out the reeve there, you decided, okay, we're going to find out who's there, who's taking the materials, and you successfully did that, having our first combat, which went very well. Thanks, Teresa. Runa, you did an amazing job. You smashed, and our dwarf got some big hits into, and so we got through combat. You found out that it was there's kind of a shady landowner in the town, and it was his great nephew who was kind of in charge of that. But of course, the shady landowner was not at all involved, which you definitely had suspicions about, but you couldn't prove it, and his nephew did not flip on him. So you were celebrating in the tavern. At the end, you know, the town is very thankful that you were able to find the materials, and they can get started back on building their bridge. They don't have to worry about this anymore. They can hire honest workers who are going to actually rebuild the bridge instead of just stealing and selling off their materials. And then we ended with that night in the tavern, and your patron, Leorin, like walked in the door with his beautiful big hound. Our big hound is actually not here tonight in person,
It's true.
but the one in the game is there. So, all right, did I miss anything?
No.
No,
Okay.
I think that was it.
Excellent. All right. So yeah, you were starting. We're not going to start with that exact scene. We're going to start with a day or two later, like 24 to 48 hours, maybe 72 hours, somewhere in that little. It doesn't really matter exactly how long. You've been in town for a few days. The town is very thankful. You've had individual conversations with different people. So we're going to kind of start with those conversations with different people in town. So after this, let's go ahead and start real quick, though, with our housekeeping. So we're going to do advancements. So I know some of you had already made choices with that. Did anyone want to share what choices you'd made for your advancements?
Sure.
And we discussed how to do advancements in, I think, the last episode. So if you're curious, go check that out.
So due to Aerlind's knack for misadventure while traveling, we took a point in travel as to maybe get less lost and talk less about trees and more about the road when we're traveling. Took a second level in explore for a similar reason, partly just because Aerlind, I think, when they go down a path of reading, it doesn't stop. And that's just where that ended up. And then the last one to awareness, especially after the trek through the forest at night and all of the traveling and looking out and actually trying to be good at what they do and be useful to their friends.
That makes sense. All right. Anyone else? I know you made a change last time, Jay, which you talked about offline. You'd taken hunting last time.
Yeah.
And I think after playing a session, you kind of rethought that, and you asked me, and I was like, totally fine with you swapping it up since we hadn't really used it.
Okay, sure, yeah. I ended up switching that point to travel rather. And I'm gonna save the rest of my skill points for getting a second pip and one of my other skills.
Perfect, yeah.
Mhm.
Anyone else spend anything, or are you saving?
I did. Since Runa spectacularly face planted in the forest last
That was
time,
amazing.
I'm going to add a pip in stealth.
Very good. And
I took hunting last time, but
Okay,
this
you're gonna-
time I'm also saving.
okay, saving, perfect. All right, and also, we have had, we'll say 2 prolonged rests, or 1, it doesn't really matter. But since we had like a good night's sleep in a tavern with a meal, relaxing, totally safe, you recover all of your lost endurance points. And none of you had a wounded box checked.
No.
And you also regain a single point of hope if you're, never mind.
No?
You also regain a single point of hope if they're at 0 hope, and none of you are at 0 hope.
No.
Correct?
Oh, no.
So you're good. But we also, don't forget, at the beginning of each session, we get all our fellowship points back.
Right.
So please update on your
Perfect.
sheets that is back to our full number.
Which is 6.
6.
6, yes.
And you know what? I have a point of fatigue. Do we recover? I have a point of fatigue. Still marked down. Do we recover that over the upcoming days, or do we need to make the what was it?
Oh yeah, the
The fatigue is left over from the traveling.
Yeah.
So we'll just say, because it's been a couple days, I think that you should probably be fine. So we'll just wipe
Okay.
wipe the fatigue.
yeah.
Because
Finally.
travel fatigue is something very specific, and
Yeah.
you've now been in town for probably about a week, so
Okay.
we definitely are over travel fatigue.
It's like the very slow version of jet lag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, like, if we were in like a strange place and maybe you weren't sleeping well, but this is like you're home away from home,
Mhm.
you're among friends, you've been given awesome things. So, all right. Does anyone have someone specific that they'd like to talk to? Let's do a real quick character refresh. It's been a couple weeks since we played because of the holidays. So we've got Yam Tuberson, who is the Reeve of Creek's Crossing. So it's like a mayor for like equal station. They are going to have an election very, very soon. But because of your assistance, it looks like Yam will probably be reelected. We've got Thaddeus Birchmere, sorry. And he's our shady landowner. And he is like kind of sausage-like and short, not sausage like sausage our character, but like actually like very tight skinned. And he is one of those people who owns multiple homes in a very small town, kind of taking up a lot of real estate. And he owns what is essentially a kind of like Airbnb type thing, which is putting the actual tavern and inn in town that's been there for a long time, kind of in some like not financial trouble, but they're just squeaking to get by. And that was Olga. She's our tavern keeper, and it's the Bridgeside Tavern, which is probably where you're all staying unless you want to go back to your ruins, your ruin haven, which is where you go. And she's verbose. She likes using a churn paddle as a weapon in a pinch. And
I think after our sort of tenuous encounter, Aerlind would like to go and sort of touch base with Thaddeus and see if there's any there.
Okay.
but you know, as a like cordial visit is the kind of face of it, and just be like, you know, things were so tense last time. Let's talk.
Absolutely. Uh,
The super civilized version of what I was thinking about doing.
yes. So I guess that's my next question. Are you going to go alone?
I think you would bring it up to everyone and just be like, what do we think about Thaddeus and that whole situation?
I'll say, anyone who lets family fall for 'em, they ain't any good in my book.
The whole situation definitely smells.
More ways than one. If you plan on going to talk to our friend landowner, I'd keep you company. Maybe stay, a little ways back, just so he doesn't feel intimidated or anything.
Then I will not join you if we don't want him to feel intimidated.
I don't think there's an oak large enough in this town to hide you.
Oh. Probably not.
No, I think he's a no good person in this town, but I don't think he's up to any trouble at this point yet. I mean, we just kind of showed him that we know what he's up to, and I don't think he's going to be trying anything right now, but I'm sure between the two of you, you can handle any kind of trouble he has to offer. Especially since his whole gang of thugs has been run away, and his nephews. Is he incarcerated in town?
Oh yeah, Rugar.
Yeah.
You know,
Rugar has been he's in town. He's going to have a trial. It's taking a little bit of time to like get that together because this is such a tiny town. They're not used to like having trials, and they're
Yeah.
wanting to make sure. Yam was especially nervous about this because Thaddeus is such a kind of important person in town, and he wanted to make sure that there was like no impropriety, and they got someone who is very much impartial, because people in town either really like Thaddeus because they work for him, or they really dislike Thaddeus. It's like hot and cold. So they've actually sent to Bree to have kind of a law scholar. They couldn't like get the judge of Bree to come, obviously. They're like, no. But they've gotten a law scholar to come and act kind of as the judge
nice.
for the case. But it's going to be a week or two before they
Okay.
get there.
Makes sense.
And he's sort of holed up in some house or basement or something in the meantime.
Yeah, they do have kind of a jail. Most of the time it's used to store important things.
Yeah.
But they've cleared out all the food stores that are generally in there, the wine casks that they try and keep the teenagers away from by locking them up and things like that. And they like he's in there now. It's very comfortable. It's like made for people to be in there. It's just not used very often. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, I think I'd probably kind of keep an eye on, like, I'd spend time every day walking by that building, just making sure that it doesn't look like anybody slipped a spoon in the window and now there's a weird pile of dirt. Like,
Okay.
nothing like that going on. Or make sure that it doesn't look like somebody's coming by at night and slowly chiseling mortar out of rocks or something.
Okay.
Like, that's what I'd do.
Okay.
I think Runa is probably going to check in with whoever is in charge of like charity in the town.
Okay.
Like, you know, making sure that the people who are less fortunate in the town, you know, have something to eat. And whoever is responsible for that, I hope there's a person. If not, she's going to try to make one.
Okay.
You're in charge now.
Yeah. Ready, go. No, there is a person who's in charge of that. We'll say her name is Goody. Calvin. And she's kind of like the wise woman, healer, person of the town. Generally, when people need something, they come to her. She's really good at going to other people in the town, and people, when they have extra, tend to hand it off to her, knowing that it will get to people who really need it.
Awesome.
And she's she kind of, if your grandmother was much more chill, Like,
Runa's grandmother has no chill.
yeah, no chill.
None.
But Goody Calvin is very worldly. Like, she's seen lots of things, which is strange for someone living in such a small little town like your grandmother. But she's like much more frail, and she doesn't have like the imposing physical presence.
Okay.
And she's like, I've seen all these things, while your grandmother's like, I fought all these things and beaten them. So, like,
Very.
parallel vibes, but a little different.
Okay.
She's also an incredibly good cook.
Ooh.
So,
Opposite.
yeah.
Yep.
So she's one of those people you can give her, a couple potatoes and like a little bit of something, and like she'll somehow make like a spread that like is really good and can feed more people than you'd think could do with that many potatoes. But great. So that people also really appreciate that she's able to use like a meager amount of resources to give a good meal to a lot of people.
Awesome.
And she often goes and when she has given a lot of stuff, she'll actually go often and she and Olga will cook together and use, since the tavern has a little bit bigger kitchen than her little house does.
Nice.
So why don't we start? Go ahead. I'm gonna have you roll first, Dave.
Sure.
And Hannar, sorry. I'm gonna have you roll scan for the first night. See what you see, if you see anything.
Little did you know, I'm good at scanning.
Thief skills.
I don't want you to fail things. Like, my goal is not for you to lose here.
No, listen, we're adversaries.
Oh yeah, we're adversaries. Yes. It's me to a T, adversarial GM. Can't you tell?
Oh, man.
A lot. I beat my number.
Okay.
Yeah, plenty.
Um,
I don't have to math that much.
so that first night, you don't notice any outward signs of like tampering or anything. But you definitely see that there's some people who are flying casual as they're
Oh,
around
sure.
there, So it's like they're looking a little too casual. It's a little suspicious.
Like, hey, that guy walked by twice.
Yeah, in a very small town,
Yeah.
like it's not to the tavern and then back to his house, like, so it's a little bit strange.
Cool.
But there's nothing really to cause, a reason to raise the alarm at this moment.
Sure.
Town with one block just doing laps.
Yeah.
I'm on my constitutional.
Yeah, exactly. Need a few more steps. Right. Sorry, that is very off tone. I apologize. I'm excarding myself. Okay, back to tone. All right. Let's do your visit to Thaddeus next. So, is it evening? Do you approach in the morning? When would you like to approach him?
I think Aerlind would probably angle to go at a like appropriate hour, so like tea.
Okay. So like afternoonish.
Yeah, bring a loaf of bread kind of thing. We're being the nice neighbor,
Okay, very good.
even if there's an edge of other reasons for it.
Very good. Does anyone remember, I don't think we gave Thaddeus' wife a name yet, did we?
No.
I didn't.
All right. Her name is Therma.
Irma. That's delightful.
Thank you. Therma Birchmere. I keep saying Mark because it looks like a C in my notes, sorry. So Thaddeus and Therma live together. And it is very, they keep it very close. It's not well known, but Therma runs a lot of things. Thaddeus is in charge of the business side of things, but when Thaddeus gets out of line, a lot of people will go to Therma to solve the problem, and she will solve the problem. So Therma is actually, while Thaddeus is respected for his monetary contributions, for hiring people, for giving people jobs, Therma is actually respected as a pretty good part of the community.
Okay.
So
She's the one to talk to.
Yeah, she's like his voice of reason, kind of? Or
More bat over the head of reason.
Gotcha.
So
All
when
right.
he gets carried away with because he's greedy, he's not outright evil necessarily. He does definitely kind of cross that line according to your suspicions sometimes. And a lot of that Therma is not aware of, and then when she finds out, she gets very upset and fixes it, and it stops. So,
Wonderful.
yeah, just heads up, that's kind of how their relationship goes. So you come in the afternoon.
Yeah, probably stop by Olga and buy a loaf of bread off of her just to bring with me as a little, goodwill gift.
Okay. Olga's very excited to sell you bread.
Yes.
Actually, she has a little bit of like a tiff with you about whether you have to pay for the bread. Like, she does not want you to pay.
Aerlind would insist.
Yes.
To pay for the bread.
And she's grateful because she like needs it, but she also is very grateful to your heroes. You help in the you come in the tavern, which draws people into the tavern often because you have great stories. So eventually she does let you pay for the bread. And you see she goes and specifically picks like the biggest, nicest loaf and like it gives that to you.
And Aerlind would smell it and praise how beautiful and delicious it smells, and we love bread.
Thank you so much. An elf like liking my bread. That's thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then you make your way to, as we described last time, Thaddeus and Therma's very nice home. It has beautiful glass windows everywhere. It's got like the nice knocker, all these things, and go up to the door. And what do you do? How close behind are
how
you
close
walking?
are you?
I will. You know what? I'll find a reason to kind of like stop at the place like next door. Maybe not immediately there, but just hang about where I'm a few yards away. I can watch the windows. You know what? Can there be some establishment or other, like a few yards away from Thaddeus's house, where there is a fine lass working outside that I can strike up a conversation with?
Sure. Yeah, we can say like across the street.
Sure.
There is. I'll say he wouldn't want something loud nearby. So probably. We'll just say that there's some homes there as well. Obviously, much more like humble than his home. But there's a young lady outside watching her younger siblings as they're kind of playing and rolling around.
Sure.
And she's kind of singing to herself and doing a little bit of needlework.
Oh, she's singing.
Oh.
In that case, the lute will come out, and I'll just play kind of a simple tune while keeping an eye, again, looking through the window. And I'll sing songs with her, and sing songs for the siblings.
Okay, they are delighted.
Sure.
You're famous in town. You're a big ZL. But also having someone who's an actual musician in town is something that like they only ever get that when you are in town most of the time. So they have like their own folk music where they sing and they play instruments, but it's all sort of self-taught and passed down. Like someone who actually has like a fine instrument and is able to sing and play well, like pretty soon you have not a huge crowd, but anyone who has a few minutes and is aware of you singing is like now kind of like gathering and listening to you.
And I'll just sing a song about our travels and about the things that we saw on the road on our latest trip here.
Yeah. You're wrapped with attention, and you were very conveniently able to see like straight over to Thaddeus's house.
Okay,
And the
great.
big windows are open. I kind of imagine it having not a full wraparound porch, but there's definitely like a nice porch on the front.
A receiving porch.
Yes, a receiving porch. Or a place where people can stand and knock your door and not be in the rain,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
a big deal in this town because nobody has
Little
stuff like
portico.
that. Yeah, exactly. And
Aerlind would just walk up like he belongs there, because that's how he approaches practically every situation,
Yes.
and just knocks on the door with a big smile on his face.
okay. And just a moment, and you're bustling and click, click. And then, yes. Oh, and there's Therma standing there. And she knows her husband's reputation. She kind of knows, and she appreciates the finer things, which is also kind of like this double-sided thing. She wants to do right, but she also really likes all her glass windows and her nice house and the nice knocker and her porch and all those things. Master Elf, it's welcome.
Lady
Hello.
Birchman.
Yes. I apologize. This is a much better circumstance than the last time you were here.
Yes, I actually just came by to, well, first of all, I brought this lovely loaf of bread.
Oh Yes.
and I was hoping to just check in and see how things are.
Oh, well, come in, please. And she kind of like awkwardly like bows a little, but then isn't sure if that's right, and then just kind of like ends up curtsying and nodding her head a little. And
And Aerlind very politely bows as well.
yes. Oh, well, wonderful. Well, thank you for the bread.
Of course.
Give me but a moment, and I'll cut it and bring in with some butter.
Perfect.
And she like disappears and comes back in a moment. Well, here you are. Would you like some?
Yes,
Oh,
please.
I do have some jams as well. Would you like some
yes.
jams? Okay. Do you prefer like boysenberry or strawberry?
Which is your favorite?
Ooh. I definitely like the blackberry best. It
I'll
has a little
have
bit
the
more tang. It's
blackberry.
not quite as sweet.
Mm.
And this is like a little bit of show off.
Yeah,
Like, but like,
he's buttering her up. It's all good.
Yeah. So she goes back in and comes out with some blackberry jam and like to share. Did you want to speak with Thaddeus or?
I'm happy to talk to you.
Oh, well, thank you. Excellent.
I missed you yesterday, and when I came calling, it was quite late, so it's completely understandable. But I
Yes.
just wanted to make sure that everything was all right.
Well, it is very disappointing what happened with Thaddeus's great nephew. It's so strange sometimes what family chooses to do, and I just for the life of me, I don't understand why he would do such a thing. Taking the wood from the town, it seems so strange. I'm sure that Thaddeus would have just given him a loan. It seems very odd.
And you haven't heard from this great nephew very often, have you?
No, I knew he existed, but he had never actually come to town or stayed with us until recently. And I believe when the work for the bridge was being, given out, Thaddeus was charged with finding workers, and he of course reached out to family, because why would you not? And the young man was in need of a position and needed to, make some ends meet and find his way in the world. Unfortunately, it turned out there was a reason he had no position, it seems.
And how did your esteemed husband get in touch with his great nephew, if I might ask? I don't mean to pry.
Oh, I'm not entirely sure. I'm sure he sent a letter to family of some type, probably in Bree.
Oh,
But who exactly, I am not sure. He has a very tangled family tree between you and me. There's some branches that don't quite connect.
I understand that one.
Yes.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that you were all right, and that, that the good Birchmere name isn't besmirched.
I do hope not. Well, thank you for checking on me. It does seem that Yam will be reelected. Which also, between you and me, I am quite glad of. Thaddeus is busy enough. He does not need to be Reeve on top of owning half the town. But I digress. Please keep that.
Of course,
in the
of
confidence.
course.
Yes. But yeah, it is a shame. I am not looking forward to going through the trials. Such things are so rare here in Creek's Crossing,
Yes.
and it is sure to be talked about for years, unfortunately. So, well, we might do our best for the Birchmere name. I'm afraid that it is inextricably now linked with this scandal.
Well, I would hate for there to be any leads that would tie back to your beautiful home.
It is very pretty, isn't
Yes.
it? Yes, well, so far it seems that no one is holding too much resentment against us. So hopefully that's all we can hope for, is that continues.
Between you and I,
Yes, of course.
since you've given me so many things to keep close,
Yes.
I would just be aware that he was given access to your home.
Was he?
Yes.
Oh, I mean, I knew he came to visit on occasion, but free reign of the home, you think?
Well, he was here when we came looking, and
Yes, I was here that evening.
my counterparts were at the other doors, and it didn't seem that they were broken.
Yes, he had been invited over that evening, but I had thought he'd left, but I'd also... Thaddeus had sent me upstairs. I will count the silver and such things and make sure. She looks actually concerned. Also, just the fact that he was seen coming and going from here, that won't be helpful at all.
The town does know that we found him here.
Town knows everything,
Yes.
yes. It's such a small town. Eventually, what one person knows, everyone knows. Oh, with the exception of us, of course.
Of course.
Of course. So,
It's between you and I and the walls.
of course. Then she kind of like looks at the walls. Thaddeus is at his office. It's fine. All right, yes.
Well, I don't mean to keep you. Thank you so much for the jam and the bread
Oh,
and the
thank
butter.
you for the bread. It was lovely. And, I know what people are saying about the nephew and Thaddeus, and I will be keeping an eye on things.
As you always do.
As I try to do, yes. Some promises for forever seem a lot better when you make them when you start making them at the beginning, and then years in, suddenly you find out what exactly you've got on the end of your line, and well, you just have to make the best of it.
Well, you can count your beautiful windows.
Do have many lovely windows, yes. Thank you for saying so.
Of course.
Is there anything else before you leave?
No, I believe that's all. Thank you so much, Lady
Thank you.
Birchmere, for your
Please
time.
come back anytime, even if Thaddeus is here.
I will keep that in mind.
Yes. And she kind of like bods a curtsy again.
And Aerlind just kind of awkwardly takes himself outside.
Which compared, like, does not seem super awkward at all. For an elf, it's super awkward, but yeah. All right, very good. And you walk out, and Sausage is across the street singing to about, we'll say, like 8 people, like 3 little kids, like a preteen, like she looks like somewhere between 12 and 14, and then like a couple other people from the town, and they're all just
Yeah, just folks kind of coming and going.
Yeah.
I'll give you a whistle and kind of like I'm mid song, so I'll give you a whistle and like
And
see if it can get you
take
to
the
join
cue
in.
immediately, and the flute comes out, and here we go.
Yeah. Let's play a couple more songs
Yeah.
and then be on our merry way, I think.
yeah,
Smiling and
Yeah, the 2 of you playing definitely draws like a pretty good crowd.
Love it.
Awesome. All right. So this is happening, and you wanted to speak with Goody Calvin.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna go visit Goody Calvin. I feel like probably every time we come to town, Runa gets like a wish list from her to like keep an eye out for things on her travels to bring to the town. So she's got some healing supplies from her latest foray to bring to her.
Awesome. So she's asked you for there's like a strange type of mushroom that only grows in like deep caverns and ruins, and that's the thing she usually asks you for the most because it's like an amazing healing piece. It does like pain reduction as well as like helping things heal more. So that's really like her absolute like favorite thing that she asks you for. And then there's like a couple other herbs and things like that. She's not really of an age where she can go wandering very far to get herbs anymore. So she
Probably
can go
not into caves. And
yeah,
stuff either.
definitely not in a cave. You're not even sure that she would have been good at that, like in her prime. Like she's very different stock than you and your family, even though there's a kindred spirit in there.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I'll bring the herbs and mushrooms that I've gathered on the trip over. Goody Calvin!
It's so nice to see you.
It's so good to see you. How are you?
I'm good, and you're all. And she kind of does the thing where she doesn't really ask permission, but like a grandmotherly person who's had a bunch of kids, like starts just kind of pulling at you, like she holds up your arm. Oh, and you're all in one piece. Excellent.
Still in one piece.
That's
Yeah.
excellent. I'm always worried about you, but you always impress me, and you come back just fit as a fiddle.
Well, thank you. I do my best. Speaking of best,
Yes.
I brought you your favorite.
Oh, amazing! Thank you. Oh, and you got the turkey mushrooms. Those are wonderful.
I had to go to 2 separate caves for those, and I only had to hit things with my sword in one of them.
Oh, what a dear you are. Well, I mean, that's you like that part, right? Were you
It's true.
disappointed that it was only one of the 2
How else am I
caves?
going to keep fit, you know?
I know. You were very fit. It's very impressive, young lady. All right. And were you just delivering these today, or did you need something?
Well, I think we're going to be staying in town for a little while longer, but if you have a wish list, anything that isn't normally what I look out for, do let me know.
I will absolutely let you know. I will look through my stores. Oh, I made you. And she like gives you, there's a couple little bags, and there's like you know by now there's like probably some like sort of like oily substance in them, but you know that it's like a nice healing thing.
Okay.
So she uses some of they're called turkey mushrooms because they're kind of like they have like these fans that sort of look like the like turkey feathers in the back, and they have got these lines on them, so resembling a turkey. And so she gives them to you, and this is kind of like her way of thanking you. Is like she makes some of the best healing topical things for you,
Awesome.
and kind of gives them to you in
I probably
appreciation.
need it sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. It's also her way of just making sure you're okay and you come back in one piece. Because she definitely has kind of grown over the years to care for you, kind of as, if not a member of the family, but definitely kind of a little bit of a protege. She's probably tried to teach you some of the how to make medicinal things. I don't know. Are you any good at it?
I feel like some of the basic things stick,
Mm-hmm.
but like anything more complicated than like a level 1 healing,
Okay.
but she's like,
Yeah.
I know there's a part to this that I'm forgetting.
Yeah. And again, in most like most things in Middle Earth, this isn't like outright magic. This isn't necessarily a healing potion. But this is actual like medicine. Like there's different things, like you can take eucalyptus in our world for, you know, clearing sinuses and things like that.
Sure.
So it's very similar to that. So it's, if you're using it, it might help your deaden pain. It might help you heal a little bit faster, but it's not like drink a potion.
Folk remedy, but
yeah.
not like a magic.
Exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, so you have very good folk remedies.
Awesome. And she'll sit down and just kind of catch up with her. How are the people in the town? Because I know you know who's most in need and what they need.
Yes, well, things have gotten rather dire. Oh, sorry, I went back to that Therma's voice. Well, things have gotten rather dire since, you know, all the materials were being stolen. I'm hoping that if they can hurry up and complete the bridge now that all the materials have been returned, and they can hopefully hire some honest workers, that things might get better. But there are many families with young ones who've been struggling a bit to make ends meet. Olga and I have been doing what we can to provide, so no one's starving, but there's definitely a bit of strain on most of the families in the town. Yam does what he can, and shares what little extra he has, which is very kind of him. I think it will serve him well in the upcoming election.
I think so. I think he'll be getting reelected. He is a good reeve.
I mean, really, there's not anyone else. Like, maybe if Olga was to run, she might beat him, but
You know,
I don't think there's anyone else.
I could see Olga in charge. Something to remember.
Now that you mention it, she'd probably be pretty good at that. Although she'd have to maybe stop running the tavern. I don't know how that would go over.
Oh, I can't support that. I do like the tavern. It's very good.
Yeah, I mean, I'd really be disappointed if she stopped brewing her ales.
That would be a great loss to everyone.
Absolutely unforgivable.
Well, I don't have much to offer the young families. If you think some monetary treasure will help, I'll always give you some. Or if they're in need of food, I could try hunting.
It is up to you and your generous heart, darling. Money contributions are always helpful. We can always send and buy supplies from neighboring towns or send someone to Bree. It's a bit of a ways, but it's not impossible. And whatever you'd like. You do so much for us already. I hate asking you for more.
You're not asking, I'm offering. Why would I gather all this treasure if I couldn't give it to people?
That is so kind of you. It brings a tear to my eye. She kind of does like the hug thing, and she's very wee, so like her hug is like at your waist.
She leaves her with the bag.
Yeah.
Just like a little bag of treasure to help out the families. I'll leave you with this for now, and if I have time to do some hunting, I'll see if I can rustle up some meat for the families.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay, so you've been in town a couple of days, and you have heard some rumors hanging out at the tavern, and there's just you always hear stories. Like, this is a town that's kind of in the middle of nowhere, so stories come out of all these different places, and let's see. One afternoon. Do I want to do that, or do I want to do that? Sorry, I'm deciding what I want to do right now.
Uh-oh.
We'll see. We're gonna do plan B. So you're sitting at the tavern. Can we say that we're all at the tavern together at some point?
Easily.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I feel like this
Absolutely.
happens like
Yeah.
daily. Like
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
getting to your meal.
Several times daily,
Yeah.
probably.
So we'll say this is
No,
probably.
I'm the only dwarf that doesn't like ale.
You say with your pony keg.
So we'll do a second. So this will be okay. That was the day. So let's do another night. So we roll another. Are you doing another?
Yeah, I think it'd make it just like part of the routine,
Okay.
right?
So why don't you roll
And
scan?
I think specifically this time, if there was somebody that was semi-suspicious last time, this time I'm gonna make it a point to like lean on the wall and look tough,
Okay.
right?
The wall of the jail.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Just like I'll just pause there long enough to see them walk by again. You know,
Okay.
that kind of a thing. So, I'm sorry, a scan again.
Scan roll.
Oh. So it's a favored thing, and I rolled 2 12s. I
Mhm.
take the better of the two.
Yeah, of the two. Yes, of the two
Okay.
feet die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. That's awesome because I
Okay.
didn't really want the high. That's cool. 2 6 7 9 10. Yeah, I still made it.
Okay.
Thankfully.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
So we're gonna say that this night it's actually raining pretty steadily, mostly because it just started really raining here, and people at home might hear like the cool Foley effects of like the real
Yeah.
rain. So yeah, you see that this person walks by again, and they kind of like walk, and then they see you, and you see them kind of like their eyes widen a little bit, and they walk a little faster, trying to play cool, but like
I
Yeah.
I make the eye contact and like the guy passing another guy on the street like just
Mhm.
head nod tilt
like I see
thing
you.
like yeah like
Yeah.
I have observed you and I know.
Yeah. Yeah, he totally gets the message and like walks a little quicker. This is someone who lives in the town. I don't think you know their name probably. They're just like one of the, random families. He has a young wife here. They don't have any children yet. She was born in town. He came and then he stayed since marrying her. So they just live kind of in one of the little houses in town.
It's 100% more of a like I'm keeping an eye on things.
Yeah.
Don't start anything because I'm gonna remember you.
Yes. No,
Kind
absolutely.
of a notice. That's
Yeah.
all.
Just give you a little bit of like background. Like once you like really looked, you'd be
I
like,
know who it is a little
kinda
bit. Like,
recognize
oh,
him.
hey, yeah, that's
Yeah.
that guy. And, yeah.
yeah. So it may
He
not
and
know
his
your
wife
name.
come into the tavern sometimes, and
Yeah, exactly.
sure.
All right. So you're in there. And Laren has been in and out of the tavern and in and out of town. He's wont to do this, so this doesn't seem strange. Like it's very strange. Like he'll be there, huge presence, like reading fortunes, and then you'll look up like 20 minutes later, just gone. And then you're not sure where he goes because he's not staying at the inn. And then suddenly, like late the next morning, he's back and talking to people and talking with all of you. Loves when you recount your adventures and things like that. And he was amazed. That's amazing that you showed up in time to fix all of this. This is wonderful. I'm very excited about that. So he's in the corner right now reading some fortunes. And you're all sitting at a table together?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sipping wine with books everywhere, like you do in a tavern.
Yes. I'm going to have. Let's see. I'm going to have. Awareness. I'm going to have all of you roll awareness, please.
My new and improved awareness.
Mm.
Haha! Oh yeah. Oh,
Okay.
goodbye.
Just throw that dice.
That one's gone.
That one's
Gone
gone
forever.
Gone forever.
Here we go.
And that one's at a weird angle. Oh, that was worse.
Okay.
That's pretty
That's
good.
pretty good.
I
Yeah.
succeeded
I'll
with
take
the
it.
rune.
I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
succeed, but
Yeah, I succeeded. It's a great success.
Okay.
Yeah.
So over, the tavern's it's still a little bit early in the evening, so it's not super raucous. People are eating. Some people are still finishing up their work from the day. The four of you are sitting. The two of you hear what is unfortunately a very familiar sound of very off-key, loud singing coming up the road towards the tavern.
Oh no.
And you
no.
absolutely recognize this voice as
No.
Benedict the Burly.
I'm writing with my nice quill, and the moment that I hear it, it's just a big ink blotch all
Yep.
over the page.
Yes.
I just look at Burl.
Yeah, I look at you, we kind of make eye contact, and then Runa and Hannar, I mean, you're not paying as much attention, I guess.
No, I think she's face first in a pint.
Yeah, you just kind of hear this. You hear this thunk of my forehead hitting the table.
I think I'm probably like, it's pretty early.
Yeah.
Like,
Too much ale? Sausage?
I mean,
And then I say, "No, he's coming."
Who?
Oh, no! And as I wandered the world,
I'm gonna need a lot more ale.
found everything.
I push my tankard towards you.
And I'm a hero of legends that everyone knows.
How did he do this?
Is
Like-
it purposely off key?
No.
It
I-
has to be intentional.
Oh.
So brave,
it's an affectation for sure.
so strong.
Does it sound like it's coming closer to the
Yeah,
tavern?
it
Oh,
goes to the
great.
tavern.
I actually make a point to move any empty chairs that are at our table to other tables.
Greatest of all.
Burl starts taking up as much space as possible.
Yeah.
I move my books to kind of follow that.
Benedict. Benedict. The Burly. It's pretty good for making an episode around that.
Yeah,
I really loved it. Thank you.
yeah, that was awesome.
I'm like, it doesn't have to rhyme. He wouldn't be good enough to rhyme.
No.
It's fine. So just as he comes in, he's like, the Burly, as he walks in the door with like, even like jazz hands almost.
Hold my cloak up.
Yeah.
And Benedict is someone who is well known to you. He's a braggart, but he's an adventurer, but very ineffective. And you've seen him in action a few times, never by choice. And the tales of his deeds that he tells do not match his abilities that you have seen. But somehow he still seems to make a living at this. He seems to get jobs. And for those of you who are Xena fans, he's sort of like a large, muscular Joxer, opposite. Joxer's not, but yeah, skinny, like ill-fitting armor, but sort of the same vein of effectiveness and ability. So comes in.
I think secretly Hannar really likes him.
That's awesome.
Like, he's just loud enough and bad enough that, like, whatever we do and screw up is not going to be nearly. So he's kind of like, hey, he's here. Nice. Like, everybody else gets like, oh. And I'm like, oh, yeah, darn. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm so sad that he's here.
Are there a lot of people in the tavern right now?
Not a lot compared. This is pretty much the only place people have to go. Unless
sure.
they're going to stay home. Like, this is their only other option.
Yeah.
So it usually gets pretty full in the evenings. It is about half full right now. And some people are excited. Like, most of these people are very honest, laboring types. Most of them have never really been on too much of an adventure. And they've fought off things that were dangerous to their town and such things, but they don't go out seeking danger. So Joxer is also like kind of a celebrity to them in a way, because they don't know how to most of them don't know how to tell the difference between his tales and his actual abilities.
Between a good adventure and a not so good adventure.
Yeah, and he's pretty good at telling stories, so they're really into that. And a lot of them think that he's like friends with you and part of your group.
Oh, no.
He's with the band.
Yeah, he's with the
Great.
band.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I pick up an apple that's kind of like sitting in front, and I take a big audible bite. Hello, Benedict.
Oh, so, my friends, it is so good to see you. What fancy meeting all of you here.
Yeah, fancy that.
I mean, how long have you been in town?
We're pretty consistently in town.
Well, you'd left a while ago, and
Oh, sure,
yes.
if you're gonna adventure, you have to leave sometimes. But,
I'm so glad that you figured that out. That's excellent.
the
You're
rest of the
getting
time.
so much better at this adventuring thing.
Oh, yes.
Runa's pint is like about to break in her hand.
Aerlind is staring off into the middle distance, just like, how does this end?
Another audible bite.
Would you like to hear my tales of my latest adventures?
No, you should save it for later when the rest of the town comes by.
Oh,
That's true. It's not
yes.
crowded enough in here for
Right.
that quite yet.
Well, that is very wise.
Maybe instead I should just play my drum really loud. How about that?
I could dance for everyone.
You should. There's a clear spot over there.
That's super delightful.
Benedict,
Yes.
such a pleasure to see you.
Yes, and you as well. How are you, Aerlind?
I'm very well.
Good to see you. Goes over and does like the side like hug thing.
Ink like visibly spills across the page.
Oh, it looks like you're having trouble writing there. Is everything all right?
Everything's quite well.
Maybe we should have another round. Olga, bring another round. Olga. And she kind of is like, and you can see her like smile, like the forced smile that retail workers have, like at
Yes,
like, holiday
Olga,
time.
a round on Benedict would be wonderful.
Yes.
That I can appreciate.
Yeah. And
You gotta be one step ahead.
yeah, so she comes and brings everyone, and he pulls out like a very big gold piece, and like, here you go.
Is this commonplace that he is able to just casually pay for things?
Generally,
Okay.
he's a lot more. But I've already given it, spent it, and it's all gone.
yeah.
Oh, I think you've had a much more recent success. Like, it should be on you.
Yeah.
And this time, like, he's very clearly like, I have money.
Does it look like he has more?
Yeah.
You do notice that he has on his belt, like, his coin purse is, like, straining. Like, it can barely contain all the coins that are in
Seems
the
like
purse.
we're in for a good night.
Benedict,
Yes.
thank you for your generosity.
My pleasure.
I'm just
Well,
attempting to record things here. I
Yes.
wouldn't mind a few records of maybe where you've been.
Oh yes. Well, I've been around. I've done a few jobs here and there. Some recent some other towns have been monsters and such things. Mostly monster hunting recently. Seems like there's been a lot more of it necessary. And for a moment, there's like not like that braggadocious attitude. There's like an actual kind of concern and reflection. I don't know if you have all seen it, but it seems things are just a little more dangerous than they were like this time last year. But it's nothing that I can't handle. But it pays well. People are unfortunately very generous with their pay when they're afraid. His voice kind of like cracks just a little bit. He's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's a braggart, but he doesn't want people to be hurt, and he doesn't want to take
Yeah.
advantage of people.
Does he? I try to scrutinize him subtly.
Mhm.
Does he have scars, wounds, bruises, anything that might indicate he's been getting into tough scrapes?
Yeah, it looks like it a little bit. Like he's got like armor similar, like not quite as high quality, probably as Hannar's, but it's good adventuring armor. And you see there's some dents in it that there weren't before. They've been polished. He takes good care of it.
Hmm.
But it definitely looks like okay, yeah, he's been in some tussles. There's been a few times I've I keep getting my voices crossed tonight. Yeah, mostly along the roads and stuff. A couple of escorting people from here to there to keep them safe. Seems like the roads have a lot of thieves and bandits on them, which is a little bit odd for this time of
Yes.
year. But yeah, and just a lot of strange stories. Have you all been hearing the stories? And he's kind of like gotten wrapped up and excited to talk to you, and he's kind of lost his like bragging show off, and he's like really like seems like he wants to
Curious.
talk to you about this. Yeah.
I'm gonna say, oh yeah, we've certainly heard stories. What have you heard?
Well, I mean, especially up here, there's been just I mean, a few of them honestly. Well, I am a good, strong adventurer. There's a couple that I don't think I can tackle quite on my own, so I haven't done a lot of investigating or pursuing of them. But there's rumors of a beast that has been seen up in the Blue Mountains recently, and well, generally that wouldn't bother me at all. Like it's supposed to be. Sounds a little bit ridiculous, but there's an old mine up there, an old dwarf mine, that legend says a king hidden. He'd taken a treasure, and he was on his way to take it back to his kingdom, and a huge beast scared him and all his people and attacked them and killed many of them, so they took refuge in this old dwarven mine. And evidently there's a lot of their treasure still there. They ended up supposedly slaying the beast, but they took only the most valuable things, leaving the rest sitting there. I was thinking about heading up there and seeing if I could find it myself, but then I heard that a similar beast had been seen, so I don't... It seemed like a more pertinent thing to... And probably just a rumor anyway. Such old treasures are usually long gone by the time we get to them. And then, have you heard about the Rangers?
No.
So, like Everden, sorry. Supposedly, a few months ago, a large number of them, the Rangers.
The Dunedain.
Yes, that is it. They were seen getting on boats in the lake and going out into the lake where it's all shadowed with mist. And, their boats were laden with supplies, and then they just have never returned. No one's seen them come back. So it seems strange. It's a lake. Like maybe they went to the other side of the lake, but I mean, wouldn't they want to go back to their homes at some point? It seems very strange to me.
It does sound quite strange.
Yeah. So, and then...
This is Anemias, the lake.
Yeah, I think that's what the elves call it, yes. So, yes, it's a bit east of here.
Yes.
Yes. And then, honestly, just between us, it's the one that, I don't do well with ghosts. I like things I can fight, and that my sword can actually touch and cut. And, I don't like ghosts. But up north of here, they've been seeing that they've been seeing a young lady walking by the roadside. And then when people call out to her, she vanishes. And people are spooked. But it's gotten me a pretty good coin because they have me go with them. I don't specify that I don't know if my sword could cut a ghost, but I didn't end up seeing her when we went by. But a lot of the people have been speaking of it in these parts. And even like there's someone who's nearby who's kind of like eavesdropping, who's like, oh, I heard about that. And like they're kind of like, so. And anyway, there's just lots of strange things. Have you been seeing strange things in your travels as well? It just seems like the world's gotten a bit darker.
It does. We have noticed a few things here and there. You should be careful adventuring by yourself.
Well, I mean, I'm careful and I can handle most things. I mean, ghosts aside, I don't often tussle with them. They seem like they've got their own business, as long as they're not stealing my customers', goods as we go along, which can't imagine why a ghost would do such a thing. They've got bigger problems, I suppose.
Well, I would imagine someone looking for something, but it does seem you can toe your own line.
Yes. Hopefully they're not looking for a bunch of spices or, blogs. That's generally what my customers have.
We solved the log problem.
Oh, did you now? Well done. Sorry, I've been watching Letterkenny. Anyway.
I have so many questions, Kimi. What of any of this seems legit to Aerlind? this is an area that they're somewhat familiar with.
Yeah.
And...
You know the rumors of the Old Dwarf mine.
Sure, yeah.
And the king that was hidden there. You know that there are islands in the middle of that lake.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And that there, that was, there's kind of the vacation homes of some of the, like, very wealthy ancients who lived here.
Oh, yeah.
So there's very likely, like, something there. Why a bunch of rangers would suddenly...
They're a whole mystery to him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's that.
That seems a little odd, because that's been there for a really long time, like, for especially, like generations and upon, like, millennia, those islands have been there, so it's probably in ruins by now.
Yeah, they were kingdoms of elves, though, not men, right? Am I crazy?
No, they were given, I believe, to the Numenorians who landed,
this
I believe.
Northlands. Okay.
Let me just triple check. It's not it.
Asking the important question.
Yes. No, it is a very important question. They are kind of the yes, they were given to the Hannar.
Okay. Yep.
They were inhabited by them, and then that they were pretty much destroyed by Sauron.
Yeah.
So during kind of the big first war, which is ancient history to most of you, and so
He's like, I hate lake vacationers.
yeah, kind of. It's like no one will have a good time. So they were destroyed. So you can think of a lot of reasons why people would go out there. Why it seems strange that the people never returned.
Yeah.
And it seems strange that it was the Rangers specifically, because they generally aren't like fortune seeking. Like you'd see, like, okay, Runa goes out there to see if there's a bunch of treasure,
Sure, yeah.
or things like that. But it seems very strange that a bunch of Rangers would go out there and then, with supplies and then not come back.
What about the ghost? What do we know about ghosts?
You know that such things are a part of the world.
Yes.
This ghost specifically, I don't know if you
No.
Yeah. But you know that there are undead who, and generally they are continuing to be on this plane. It generally tends to happen to men most.
Yeah.
And the fate of men after their death is a mystery. So people know what happens. Like the elves know where they go after they die. The dwarves have their beliefs about what happens to them when they die. And the fate of men and hobbits actually is a mystery. Nobody really knows. Which is one of the reasons that they're treated a little bit gently by other races, because it's really scary to have a very short lifespan and not know what's happening after that.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit baffling to dwarves and especially elves, because elves know what's going to happen. I'm going to live a really, really long time, and if I happen to die, I know exactly where I'm going. And so there's like some assurance in that, and it's a little baffling to the elves. Like, how do you exist like that?
Yeah, I think ghosts really weird Aerlind out.
Yeah. But generally,
Imagine, like, how many elf ghosts didn't have time to finish their business on Earth? Like, that's kind of...
Yep.
Right. So, and it usually does have something to do with that. There's a promise. There's some sort of important thing keeping them, in place in the world. And many stories. Some it's like an oath they broke, dishonorable such things. Some of them are searching for something they've lost, are just alone. Some of them have been cursed for different reasons. So there's never good. It's not a happy story. Weird. But it is fairly rare. If there's a place that has a large number of ghosts, it's usually because of one single event, that happens to many people. So there are haunted marshes and a lot of battlefields, specific locations where, people turned their back on their oaths, or they all just died at one time, things
Some
like
kind
that.
of cataclysm. Or,
Exactly.
That's Aerlind's mind immediately goes to like, there was war up there. It was mostly between elves. I actually don't know what's going on now.
Yes. And yes, you do know that there is like a whole haunted like marshland that's a little bit north of like the lake, and not super far from here. So just you also know that, but that is not something that that Benedict does, and he probably, especially now that you know he's a little bit afraid of ghosts, he probably avoids that area on purpose.
Yeah. I think Aerlind avoids that area on purpose.
I think I'm going to turn to Benedict,
Mhm.
and I'm going to say,
Well, you know, you've heard all these stories. Sounds like you've been on the road quite a while. Think maybe you could stand to relax a little bit, right?
Why, yes, that's. I was stopping here. I was going to head down to Bree, but with all of you here, I'll probably spend a few days just to, you know.
You know those folks over there at that table. I think I heard them saying that they'd sure love to hear some of your stories and songs over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I can't disappoint.
People
the
were
public.
very excited to hear you approach.
Were they?
They definitely noticed.
They have such good taste here in Creek's Crossing. I love visiting here. Well, don't want to disappoint, you know, the public. These little villagers, they have so little excitement in their lives. I will return, friends. And like he turns around and grabs his pint and jauntily and like walks over greatly over to the table.
okay, and as soon as Benedict is over there, I turn to all my allies and I kind of like give it
Yeah, we all huddle.
gather up,
Take care of
symbol.
these things before he gets any more money.
yeah. And
Uh,
yeah, I mean, like this discussion we've been having,
Yeah,
I kind of
yeah.
pose those questions to everyone. Like, what do we, we take
Yeah.
stock. What do we think is legitimate?
Do I like? Is the rumor of the dwarven king that hid from something in a mine? Is that a story that I would know?
Yes, well, it's
Culturally speaking?
yeah,
Like-
absolutely. You know, there are tons of mines in the Blue Mountains.
Well, sure.
Most
but-
of them, a lot of them are abandoned now. There are still existing kingdoms, but a lot of Durin's folk actually left that part and have moved on to other places. If I wasn't clear, the stories of a human king
okay.
who he was traveling and he was attacked as he had this great treasure, so he hid in the mine.
I see.
Yeah, and so most of his treasure he ended up having to leave there because he abandoned it to save himself and his
Oh,
people.
okay. All right.
But this is a legend that's been told for many
Sure,
this is a
yeah.
old story. The beast that attacked the king in like a millennia ago, still being around, chilling and like
Bad.
attacking things seems a little suspect.
Mm-hmm.
It could
But
be
stranger things have happened in this world.
Beast's
be-
grandson.
Right,
or
sure.
like
yeah.
like the cicada of monster attacks. They only come out every 50 plus years.
Tis the season.
Yeah.
for-
yeah.
And there are things that are much more ancient in this world than most people remember.
That is true.
Mhm.
Ominous elfin statement. Everyone gets quiet.
Yeah.
So
I feel like
you have
that
to feel the gravity of it.
so humans and hobbits, we generally know about ghosts as well. Like we know some lore, or at least some folklore about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the elves would have a much more like historical, like this is exactly what happened with these ghosts.
Mm.
While your knowledge would be much more folklore or this is the ghost that was there, and while an elf might actually know the history of the battle that happened 3,000 years ago that caused this ghost to wander.
Yeah.
The local people wouldn't have that long a memory, so they would have, oh, this is the ghost, and it's an evil spirit who's eating children or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So there's a knowledge there, but there's a different perspective and context.
Sure. It
for
sort
the
of borders
ghost.
a little more on superstition or superstitious,
Yes,
rather. Okay.
absolutely. But there might be people who don't believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
But most people would, and it's something that is common in stories, and there's enough people who've absolutely seen ghosts, and
Mhm.
enough people who are adventurers who have dealt with them, and if you go look in a library, there are things about different ghosts that have happened. So it's not something that is scoffed at.
Sure. I'll turn to you too, and so I'll turn to. I'm sorry, Hannar's the way. Not here, but here.
Yeah.
I'll turn to everyone and I'll say,
There's something about a ghost of a young lady that doesn't sit well with me.
It does seem quite unusual. All the ghost stories I've ever heard, not like that.
Yeah. If we can somehow keep Benedict occupied here in town for a day or two, might it be worth our while to go and take a look at that up north?
Well, there's also the treasure.
Oh, of
I
course.
do
of
love
course.
treasure in a mine.
Not that I'm advocating for treasure hunting exclusively. There is also the concern of what the rangers are doing.
Yeah. I see the glint in your eye when you see treasure, when you say treasure. And
There's
I,
also
you know,
a beast, perhaps, that is terrorizing people near some treasure.
and the thought of that like makes my eyes glint. Like,
Well, what do you think? What do you think these rangers might be up to over at the lake?
More than anything, I'm concerned.
Huh.
It's unlike them to just vanish. I mean, they're quite gifted at going among the trees and being difficult to find, but to be just gone for quite a while, it sounds like, is very concerning.
Well, the way I see it, when an elf is concerned about something, it is right proper for people to listen.
That is fair.
It is all concerning, though, to be clear.
That beast's been in there for, who knows, thousands of years. That ghost's been around, it probably ain't going anywhere.
But people who've recently disappeared might need some help.
Might be worth looking into.
If we could corroborate any of the tales of the beast attacking people, I'd be a little more presciently concerned about that. But that seems like a maybe in that story versus the treasure seems like a pretty solid lead.
One would definitely gain us more profit. But I will say, the Dunedain going missing does give me a sickness in my heart a little.
With all the stuff we saw on the road getting here and debris, I don't know if I feel
That's
good
fair.
about leaving that alone.
True.
I mean, if it's been millennia since the treasure was lost, I don't think a few weeks of travel is going to make a difference.
True. We could head to the lake and see what we can before checking out the other two.
We could also see what Leorin says.
That's a good idea. He might have some insight.
Maybe a bit of fortune.
True.
Is Laren in town right now?
It was yesterday.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
I thought he was doing fortunes in the corner of the tavern. Was that yesterday?
Was that today? Okay, he might. I mean, yeah, he.
He
Yeah.
was. Like,
He
5
was.
minutes
And
Yeah,
then
we
there
should
we
check
go.
now.
We've been chatting. He
Before
probably,
Benedict showed up.
yeah, he
Yeah.
probably bolted as soon as he heard
Heard
Benedict's
Benedict's
voice.
coming.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right. I did say that. I apologize. You look up, and actually, Leorin has gone and joined the table where Benedict is telling his story
That's delightful.
with just like, and only because you know Leorin so well, like just this like absolutely smirk of amusement and like sass, and people who didn't know him quite so would just be like, oh, he's really enjoying that story, and all of you just know that he's just like enjoying all the added made up things that Benedict has added to this. And Ranyar is like sitting, laying down, and Ranyar like his head's on the floor, and you can just see him go. And he just sighs, and then like his little doggy, like if a dog could roll their eyes, like this dog would be like, oh my god, this story.
I feel like Runa like tries to sneaks in some meat.
Yeah,
Sorry, buddy.
yeah. He like laps it up and just kind of looks at you like, I know. What? It's like really.
Have any new workers from Bree come into town yet?
Not yet. They've sent it,
Okay.
it took you a while to get here.
Absolutely, yeah.
So they've sent news. They've sent it. They sent word for that with their summons
The
for
request for it,
yeah,
yeah.
for the law scholar to come. So they'll probably be here in a few days. They don't have trouble hiring for things like this. So
Sure.
Yeah.
I was just checking in if any had arrived. Maybe they had corroborating stories for some of this stuff.
yeah.
Like they'd heard in Bree, oh yeah, remember all the rangers that used to come by town? They haven't been here in a while,
Mhm.
or something.
Yeah. People in the tavern have kind of heard about this monster, but it's something that's kind of been a story in the region for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So every couple of years, like, oh, the huge beast is back, and sometimes it's found to be a bear. Sometimes it's just okay, some livestock or people have been killed, and we don't know what happened to them. So it's kind of back and forth with that one. So when he starts talking about that, all the people in the area, oh yeah, yes, oh that thing killed my grandfather's cousin, and like all things like
Wow.
somebody has some sort of story with it,
I love this town.
yeah. Passed down through the ages. And the Dunedain are mysterious and a little scary to these people. They've had help from them a few times, but they're generally like not trusted, and they're a little strange that people can come to the town and then 80 years later come back and look the same.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the like older people in the town don't like that. That makes them very nervous. These magical people who don't seem to age as much as them. And
Looks at Elf.
well, elves, it's expected.
Yeah.
People, that's very
Yeah,
odd.
they look like men.
Yeah. So them disappearing into the lake isn't as big a deal to them. They know there's a lake over there with like creepy things happen there. There's definitely ghost stories about that. So they probably launch into all the local urban legends about the lake after he talks about the rangers missing. Well, I'm sure that it was eaten by this, or everyone knows that the mists are made of mist or fog that actually eats your bones and you turn into dust. And
And how did you hear the story?
well, it happened to my cousin's cousin about 3 generations back. We just never even got the body back. My great aunt said that they ran off and got married, but I don't believe that. So it's all like stuff like that. Like
Bone eating fog seems more likely.
I mean,
Aerlind is writing everything down furiously.
yeah. You have never heard of anything about like bone eating?
No, it's all just
Yeah.
somewhere there's got to be like a flowchart of rumors of just this town and
Yeah.
the rumors that this town generates. It's just like, well, this one seems to corroborate here, and this one, but this is its own thing. Someone has a weird idea about the river over here.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess the question is, do we want to approach Liran about this, or do we want to just kind of not ruin the Benedict party over there and like head on out?
does somebody want to just try and make eye contact and be like,
Yeah.
let's go, like,
Yeah.
and see if he's like, if he
Oh,
gives
sure.
if he gives the high sign, then great, okay, cool, then that's generally good luck.
Yeah.
Like,
I think very subtly, Aerlind's just gonna and just kind of look at you guys and then look out the door.
It's funny, like usually Liran is really good at picking up your clues. Totally focused on Benedict.
Huh.
he's having too good a time.
Hmm.
Or he's completely ignoring you on purpose.
Yeah, that seems right.
All right.
Mm.
Maybe he
Alright.
wants you to have to come over and talk with Benedict more.
Oh,
He might be trying to inflict a little bit more pain on you just for his own amusement. But maybe not. Maybe he just didn't hear.
well, I mean, I can take like some snacks over to the table.
I'm glad you volunteered.
I got it, no problem.
You did notice that like Ranyard totally looked at you when you were like clearing your throat. And Ranyard's very aware you're there. I'm like, why looking up at his master, like, why aren't you over there talking to them? They're our friends. We like them.
But yeah, whatever Olga's, I don't know, appetizer selection, like Olga's version of charcuterie or whatever, I will take over to the
Olga's
table.
There's
Yeah.
bowls of nuts and berries that are
Great.
collected locally.
Or like if she fries green beans from the local farmer or something.
Yeah,
you know.
that's totally a
something.
thing that
Yeah.
you can have. Yeah, absolutely.
So like I'd go get a couple orders of those and just take them over to the table and be like, oh, you are all having so much fun listening to Benedict's amazing stories. I just wanted to make sure everybody had a snack. And I'll totally do the like lean over the table, but totally elbow Leorin at the same time. Like, oh, excuse me, I just wanted to set these down. They're very hot. Oh, my dwarven hands. I'm so tender. They're not used to dealing with hot temperatures. So, and then I'll be like, oh, you know, these tales of things that might happen out on the road, they seem like they might be important for the area or of great danger. So
I'm laughing, Leorin's not laughing.
Your dwarven ancestors are also laughing.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's good to listen to these stories so that everyone can be aware of things that might be out there that we should keep an eye on, you know? And I'll make eye contact with Leorin as I'm saying that, completely not subtly at all. Because it's not the angle here. No. Because Benedict's not going to pick that up. He's going to be like, oh, sure, yeah, it's 100%. Important to listen to the story.
Yeah, he's barely acknowledged, like, oh, yes, thank you. And he's continuing, like, as he talks. And he's definitely not eating because he doesn't want to tell a story with his mouth full. So, Leorin's, like, snacking on a couple of the beans, like, grabs a couple of them and then, like, stands up and walks over to your table. Well, that was subtle.
And we're all like sitting there kind of like waiting to see what happens. When he comes over, we all just relax a little.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be subtle if it works.
No. Yeah. Did you have a question or did you?
Well, I mean, like, we heard those stories. You heard those stories, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes. It's fascinating.
Grains of truth in any of them?
Well, I find that there's grains of truth in every story, whether it's being made up or not.
Any important grains of truth, though?
Oh, there's great lessons to be learned. Now, you know that, like, Leorin never, like, directly gives you a command. Like, there'll be, sometimes he's like, you know, it's lovely this place this time of year. Maybe you should take a break and go on vacation. And then you just, like, happen to find, like, a monster and a treasure. But it is, he is purposefully, you're sure, obtuse about giving you, like, a direction.
Okay.
He gives you, like, options, but he's never going to be like, your quest is to go here. And it's like,
and that's absolutely not what I would be looking for.
No, I
like,
know.
it's more like, are you more concerned about any of these stories than another story? As a person that spends a lot of time on the road. You know, I wouldn't want you to encounter a roadside ghost that you weren't ready for. It might scare your poor pup. And I look over like,
Sorry.
like clearly I'm really sorry.
Ragnar looks very skeptical, like, he lays his head back down and looks up at Runa like, what is with these people? And for a moment, like, Leorin gets, like, a little bit of darkness kind of over his generally, like, cheerful features. There's much amiss in the world at this point. And any little bit to fight back the darkness can have long-lasting and helpful effects. For example, having a good, honest person as the reeve of a little town in the north may someday change the course of history. Who knows? Just as a random example. If the darkness were to come from the north, having someone with a stout heart and an honest light in their soul being the leader here could make a huge difference. Just as a random example. But there is much darkness in the world. And it is up to those with light in their heart and souls to choose their path and choose what darkness they will face. For that is how the light works best, is when it faces darkness. Maybe we should have another round. Olga!
Another on Benedict.
Yeah.
And the green beans are
Yeah.
on Benedict's tab.
Larry
yeah.
is not okay with that. But I have heard much of these stories before. None of them are strange or new. I have not heard of this specific ghost before, but there are many ghosts in this area, so it is not strange. The lake, you know, like Aerlind, it's quite a storied place, as it were.
Yes, that's why I'm very concerned about the fate of my cousins.
Aye.
Mm.
And yet, also, to the west, the dwarves. There's said to be great gold there, but such a beast roaming about. I mean, if it could possibly still be around after all those centuries. Who knows? Snacks on green beans.
All right, my little halfling hand kind of like slams on the table. Well, comes down on the table to catch everybody's attention. All right. Oh, I think that settles it then. And I look Laren in the eye and I say, our fortune lies west. And then when I see that there's no expression on his face revealing anything, or maybe north. Still nothing. East to the lake, then. And still nothing. So I'm like, east? East.
East it is.
And then maybe north.
I've never been to that lake.
Neither have I.
Me either.
Nah, can't say I have either.
Well, you should know.
However, if there really is bone-eating fog, if we could capture some of it in a cask,
Ooh.
Lord
bring
Dwarf,
it back,
if there is bone-eating fog there, I will buy you another cask myself.
I will pour out my beer to save some of it to take back to determine its properties. Sure, that would be worth something.
Leorin looks amused, like on the verge, like holding back laughter. You will take the bone-eating fog home?
Well, of course. How do you think the greatest inventions of dwarven engineering have been crafted over the years?
Experimentation.
Yes! And if you bring home fog that can eat your enemy's bones, you give it to the engineers and they could build a fogging machine. They could ride forth on coal-stoked
I'm sure there's an idea in there somewhere.
fog emitters.
Leorin and Rainier just kind of look at each other like super amused. Yes, well, personally, I have never encountered such a thing as bone-eating fog. But the world is full of wonders. Some are terrible, some are amusing, some are delightful. He takes a big swig.
Oh.
But whatever course you take, I know it shall be the right one. And if it's not, then it's been good knowing all of you very well.
I don't think the fog is going to get us, Leorin.
I am not worried about the fog, no. But for just like a glint of a moment, there's like a little bit of concern that he's very clearly trying to hide. Like, he's not concerned about the fog. Snacks and a green bean.
Do we want to set out at first light then?
Yes, I think.
Quietly,
Yeah.
Yes.
so that we don't have any unwanted people following us or anything like that?
No.
I
No
would-
fuss, no Benedict.
I
Yeah,
would feel like Benedict's not a morning person.
I would hope so.
Or he really is.
Oh no.
He might be, but I got this.
Nice.
So, like, I'm going to go over to Olga
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to get a bottle, a cask,
She's got
whatever
this.
she is of I don't know, vodka, whatever's made locally, like just some kind of fermented something.
Moonshine.
Fermented yam juice.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, moonshine. Yep.
Yam rum. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you're looking
For sure.
for like an empty container, she can give you an empty.
No, no, no,
oh,
no.
okay.
I'm looking for a full container
Oh, okay.
that I'm going to take over, and I'm going to keep feeding to Benedict.
Okay.
Because then he's going to sleep long into the day tomorrow and not be ready for adventures. So I'm going to, yeah.
She
I got
is.
this. I will pit my dwarven constitution against Benedict's.
So are you starting like a drinking contest with him,
Well,
or are you just? I mean, he is a willing drinker.
I'm gonna push that as far as I can, but then it'll turn into the contest if need be.
Okay.
Like that is a pathway I'm not closing,
Mm-hmm.
but I will start with the like, oh, what a wonderful tale. Oh, that deserves a drink. And I'll even pass some out to the other people to not make it obvious.
I think Aerlind will come and join you just to like be there, knowing full well that there's no planet where this is gonna get him under the table.
All right. I am going to have you. This is very specific.
Yeah, there's not a specific
not
skill for this.
There's not a skill that
Mm.
jumps out at this. I'm going to say song because it's sort of like the perform.
Okay, fair enough.
So it's like recite poems, sing songs, play instruments. So you are kind of putting on airs, like you're acting to try and like influence Benedict's
I like
behavior.
it. I like it. I didn't make it. I didn't like nothing terrible happened.
Nothing
but-
terrible happened. Okay.
Do we want to spend a fellowship point for that?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
And that's another D6,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Lucky, lucky, lucky. Hey! I made it!
Yay!
On the number. On
We're
the
gonna use
number.
the fellowship point.
Absolutely.
Kind of group are you? Where they kind of use fellowship points to get people drunk.
Tavern drinking contests are a time-honored Middle-earth
This
tradition.
It's 100%
Seriously.
on
Yep.
brand. It's totally good.
Can't let the dwarf
It's not
can't
just
let the dwarf not get there.
It's the fact that we used a fellowship point to drink some guy under the table because he's annoying. Like, and we just don't want to deal with that on the road. Like, there's 4 rolls for journeys,
Mhm.
and there's no no extra spot for that guy.
Freeloader doesn't have that all.
Oh,
All right. So yeah, absolutely. You're able to like keep asking, oh, but what about the time you did this? Because you know enough. Or have you ever faced such a monster? And
yeah.
like very soon, a few hours have passed. He is very inebriated. Most of the tavern is cleared out by now because they all have to get up early tomorrow too.
well, how many times has he told the same story?
Quite a few. He has a pretty good sense of, hey, those people have gone away, so it's a new audience.
Absolutely.
So you can tell the same story as long as the people haven't heard it tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, all of you have been there the whole time, so you've heard the stories like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
The sacrifice, but we'll make it.
Yes. And at some point, he needs a bit of help stumbling to his room that he's rented from Olga, and he goes and he's sleeping very soundly and very loudly as he snores. Quietly shut the door like a toddler and like back away quietly. And you are very sure that he will not be, an early bird tomorrow.
Fantastic.
Fine work.
Yes.
We're down at the table. We just all raise our
Yeah.
glasses to you as you come.
Like I'll
down.
come tiptoeing back
Yeah,
down the
yeah.
stairs. Like,
Very quiet chairs.
Yeah.
all right, tomorrow morning.
Yeah. So get a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
I'm
Saddle
probably
up the horses in the morning.
little bit. Like I'm right on that line because I didn't make it by a lot.
Yeah.
So like clearly that drinking contest took enough
I think-
effort.
Aerlind offers you his arm on the way back to
I
the
appreciate
ruins.
Aw.
Yeah. It's totally like I don't need this, but I appreciate
It's
it.
just one of those like puts his arm out kind of pronouncedly, doesn't say anything, doesn't make a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
fuss of it, just like
Yeah.
it's here if you say stumble.
Right. I think I don't stumble, but I'm like, oh good, there's an elbow. I'm gonna make this.
All right. So, we're going on a journey
Yes.
next morning. So if we look at our map, the first thing we need to do is we need to decide on our path that we're going to take.
Yeah.
Well, from the ruins, it's a straight line east to the lake. We're going into Badlands, though. No
Oh,
way to
yeah.
avoid that.
Mm,
Yeah, I don't know if that changes your. You can change your mind still if you want to go somewhere else.
No,
but
I mean, we'd have to get into Badlands like wherever we
Yeah.
go. So
eventually,
The only way to
Yeah.
minimize that is if like we went to Hobbiton and then went north.
we only go, yeah, but we're also adding.
that's a much longer
That's like
journey, yeah.
triple the number of
Yeah.
miles. Yeah.
Question.
Mhm.
Oh, great storyteller. Would I have an understanding where someone would launch a boat from on the lake? Just trying to like figure out where we're traveling to on the lake's edge.
Probably your best guess would probably be if you zoom in. There's the
The
kind
actual
of
little town.
yeah, there and but you're not sure. Like they're rangers. Like you can guess where most people would.
Of course, yeah,
But rangers can pretty much do anything anywhere.
absolutely.
And they often tend to avoid populated areas. So there's not 100%.
Okay.
So it's a little bit iffy.
You know what? Regardless, we'd probably need to stop at the town to get a boat.
Is the town still populated?
That's a really good question that I should have looked up before. Give me one moment while you decide
course.
what roles you'd like to do.
There you go. Well, I did read this very fascinating book about traveling, and if you would like my assistance, I'm hopefully a little bit less distractible.
that sounds lovely.
I can't promise I'll be much better, but
Oh yeah, no, it is ruins.
Okay.
It's been ruins for quite a long time. So, Anaminas is the ruins that are right by the edge of the lake. They used to be a part of a great kingdom, tall spires, Numenorian style build, but it has been ruins probably for a few thousand years at this point. So there are probably occasionally people who stay there, like sort of like how you crash in your ruins. It's a place to get out of the rain. There are stories of like ghosts and things there, whether that's actually true or maybe it's people camping there and like, oh, it's scary as I walk by. But it tends to be, it's not, it isn't a very dangerous area. So it's not a place that a lot of people, they don't go vacation there. This isn't where you take your children camping.
I suppose the important question would be to ask Aerlind, like, if we get to the shore of this lake, can you help us get a way to get across it?
I would hope that there's
From,
some way.
I mean, I've got an axe and there's many trees. We can make something
It would
happen.
take time.
Craft a raft.
I could craft us something that's at least a little bit seaworthy.
I mean, it's a lake. I don't expect it to be.
You understand my meaning.
Yes.
Like worthy.
No. I don't mean that. I mean, like, I don't expect it to be, swells of water like the ocean.
No, I won't be steaming the hold or anything.
Yeah.
No. There'll be no tar. It'll just be logs.
Well,
Fashioned. Yes.
I wouldn't be sad about checking out the ruins, but if it's more direct to just go to the lake.
Of course I want to go to the ruins.
Well, it may be safer to go to the lake and then follow the shore of the lake. Because then at least we know there's one direction that most enemies won't be appearing from.
It's true. Or
Practical and clever.
make a raft and take that to the ruins.
Oh, there you go.
They did vanish on the lake.
Not necessarily in the lake. Maybe it's not the lake's fault.
We'll see when we get there.
Right. Take the direct route then.
Yeah, just the
Yeah, just
Yeah.
head overland.
Eastward. Yeah.
ignore my random
Will
pen mark.
is it,
Oh, yes.
switch so we can see the map on the screen?
I can do that.
Let me undo my random pen mark. There we go. So we're going straight across from our ruin.
All right. If you want to hear us, we'll talk here. And then
Well,
I'll
give me a second.
flash the map up.
Well, yeah, we'll do that for a second. Let me fix it while you're all still debating your route, right? Or did you decide?
I think we're going
think
straight
we
across
decided.
Yeah, we're going to cut.
and round the bottom horn if needed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Just in case there's something interesting in the ruins.
Oh no, old ruins. Don't make Aerlind go there. That would be terrible.
Can't possibly be anything interesting there.
No. No scholarly pursuits or treasure.
Or things to climb. I feel like Aerlind just hears Runa go, "What's up there?" a lot.
And then she's gone
Oh,
before
no, not
Aerlind can
again.
do anything.
Why is it? Oh.
1 to 2 or 3 to 4?
So we'll add both just in case. All right. We'll mess with it later. It's not a big deal. It's okay. All right. Sorry, we got a new soundboard, so we have a little bit of fiddling to do.
But yay, new soundboard.
Yeah, new soundboard and new mic configuration, so appreciate it. All right. So you're going straight across, and so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a little different with the Darklands, though, which are the part that are a little bit orangish on the map. So things are ill-favored in Darkland. So that means that you all roll 2 feet die, and you have, and you take the lower of the 2.
Cool.
All right. Another important question. On these dangerous adventures, do you ride your horses and ponies, or do you go on foot? What would you like to do?
Oh.
Traveling on my faithful steed, my feet.
Your feet.
I think I'd still like to take our mounts.
Yeah, I feel like a
That
quick
sounds good to
getaway on
everybody.
a horse is advantageous.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Well, and we can probably send them back to the ruins if, just
Oh,
go home.
mhm.
they know where home is.
To be super clear, all horses and ponies have plot armor.
Oh, yes,
and my-
absolutely.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
also saying, like, we can do the Old West thing of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Pretty
go!
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill the pony. It is canon. It's totally fine. Okay. All right. So you are traveling, and so your first day, first 2 days. Sorry, first 2 hexes out of town are just regular. Oh, are you going from? You're at the creek. Okay, you're gonna
We're
go
at
from
the
your
ruins.
ruins.
We're
Okay.
at the ruins, yeah.
Sorry, the arrows pointing thing. So the first day out
my bad.
is it's totally fine. The first day out is just regular travel. So why don't we go ahead and do our rolls? So we need a travel roll.
It's I. Right? Oh, did we decide
Oh, yeah.
everything?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Runa's cool with Aerlind.
you wanna be the
taking
guide?
Travel.
It might not be the best plan, but Aerlind has a new ability
Sure.
to try.
This is the best time to try it.
Yeah.
Before we get into more orangey
If
areas.
no one minds, I'll try and scout.
Okay.
I will hunt.
Okay.
I can
and
do that.
I'll be the lookout.
Okay. So Aerlind is going to roll travel for us
Mm.
as our guide.
All right, here we go. Travel with 1 die.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, are we in the ill-favored area yet?
Not
Not
yet.
today.
The
Great,
first
this is
day
the day to do
good.
it.
Yep.
Oh, that went on a whole journey, and I did not make it.
No. All right. That means our first event is going to be 2 hexes away. So. Wah, wah. All right. So we are. Grab this. Oh nope, not turn it. Move it.
I can do it.
Okay, cool. I don't
2
know.
X's?
Yeah, 2 hexes. There. Perfect. So now we are in. Oh, you don't count the hex that you started in. So you're one more over.
Oh, we're here? We started in...
We're in that first Darklands
Here.
hex, aren't
Well,
we?
we started in Creek's Crossing.
Yeah,
to
we
be
We started
fair.
over here. There's a
You
hex
start at the
here.
ruins, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's 1. This is where you rolled.
And then 1, 2.
1, 2. Right? No. Okay. We'll go there. That's
Yeah, I
fine.
think we're good.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
We got to the dangerous area. And
Yeah.
Now we
Yep.
need
Now,
to slow it down a little
yes. So your travel rules will be at ill-favored now.
Yep.
So if you'd like to continue to be our guide.
Aerlind immediately does the same thing that they did last time when they failed at this, where they were walking and they were like, oh, and that tree, I believe, was scratched on by a bear.
For our first event, though, so as we arrive here, we're going to have our lookout.
Oof. Okay. So that means I'll be rolling on awareness.
Yes.
I have 2 ranks in awareness, and I'll be rolling ill-favored. So here we go. I take between 11 and 3 on the feat die. I'm going to be taking out the 11.
Oh,
That makes it 6, 9. I'm not going to make it. Can I spend a? I'm going to go ahead and spend a. I'm going to go ahead and spend a hope point
Okay.
to roll one more die.
So all of our rolls are ill-favored when we're in the orange?
In
And
Okay.
orange. Mhm.
Oh, son of a gun!
Oh, no!
So that is.
Actually, no. I think only on the success, then roll a feat die in the journey event table to determine the consequences. Oh, I'm sorry. My roll is ill-favored. I apologize.
Oh.
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 So I think yours is still normal.
Actually, no, but that makes it worse because I forgot. I've got the misprint die, so that 11 is actually a 1. So okay, I'm not making it.
Well, no, I'll let you use the 3. That's fine.
Okay.
It still doesn't make it, but
Yeah, still doesn't make it.
Okay. So I'm sorry. My determining the event is what is ill-favored.
But our
I believe your
things are just
rolls
regular?
Yeah, I believe
Okay.
so.
Okay.
make it
So-
really hard to succeed.
Yeah. Travel is fine. Autumn and winter changes it a little bit. But the roll is favored if it's in like borderlands, it's unmodified wildlands, and then it is ill-favored in darklands. So I will be rolling 2 feat die on the
no.
journey event table.
Oh, no.
So you did not make it though, right?
No.
No.
Nope.
We failed and failed.
Unfortunately.
double
Okay.
fail.
Dun dun dun. All right. And that was the skill test. I don't know why I'm like completely gone blank on what happens if you fail. Sorry. Unable to determine the consequences. The roll is favored. Maybe I should look at yours because I think yours tells me.
I'm looking at.
Yeah. Does anybody remember? This is what happens when it's
It's
been
been
like
too
3
long.
weeks since we played.
We worked so hard to never fail.
I
so there's
know.
no
We did, yeah.
Failure for guide.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you roll awareness. Oh, so you fail, so I'll roll, and then I think that's what happens.
Let's see what the event is. Isn't it?
It's definitely not going to be the Gandalf rune. Sorry about that. So a 9. A shortcut. If the roll succeeds, reduce the length of the journey by 1 day. It did not succeed.
No.
But it's still not a terrible thing to have happen. But we're gonna say that you're just like delayed. Like you're like, oh, I think there's a shortcut this way.
Right.
Oh no. So it takes just a little bit longer,
Okay.
which isn't too terrible in this situation.
How much fatigue are we taking?
You are taking 1 fatigue. Actually, we'll say 2 fatigue, because that goes with that story thing where you're kind of like wandering. Oh, no, we have to go back and track back and go again.
And that's the first day on the road, right? Okay.
The first night, Aerlind's like, I think I got distracted again by trees.
They are very distracting.
They're so lovely this time of year.
The leaves make that shh noise. It's so nice.
It's more about the color, but yes.
The color is also very good. I like the ones that kind of sparkle when they flip, you know?
Yes, they still have that oil on the edge.
I like the shh noise. It's for what it's
Good,
worth,
right?
Runa.
I just don't want to die out here.
That is also fair. We don't need to give the ghost any company.
Wait, I thought the ghost was
The
the
eternal
other way.
fellowship.
All right.
All right, next day. All right, who's going to be our guide?
Please someone save us.
Do we want to stick to the same?
No.
Okay. Let me try to be the guide then.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Sure.
I'll stick with hunting.
And what were you, Burl?
I was the lookout.
Great. Fantastic. We can do that one.
Okay, cool. Oh boy. Okay, ill-favored travel roll. Here we go.
Oh no, you're fine. You don't do.
Oh, that's right.
You're fine.
That's right. Yeah, you're the one that makes
Yes.
the. Okay. All right. In that case, a travel roll. With one success die. 15. That easily makes it.
Ah,
Yay.
nice. All right, let's see. The event target is. So we're gonna go ahead and move 3 hexes.
Ooh.
So make it
We
all the
made
way
it
to
to
the
the lake.
shore.
Woohoo.
But we are going to, on the edge of the lake, have an event for. It's gonna be our lookout
Oh,
again.
okay.
Different character though, so that works out well.
Very, very crooked die. There we go. Believe that makes it. Yes, I make it.
Excellent. All right. So this is what's ill-favored. Ooh. So a 3. Good. Luckily, you've made it. So if the roll fails, the target gains 1 shadow point of dread.
Ooh.
You don't gain that, but there is something really disturbing along the edge of the lake. So when you get to the lake, you're going to tell me what it is in just a second. So think about it. So the lake is beautiful. It's wild and dangerous land. There is, while you're looking at this, it's a very, very large lake. You can kind of see other parts of it, but in the middle of the lake, there is like this fog that's there, and that's normal for this time of year. You probably know that, Aerlind, just because it's documented. Unless you're here in the very height of summer, you can't really see across the lake just because of the mist that's there. There are nothing in your histories about it being bone eating,
No.
but who knows?
Things change.
Yeah, you never know. So that is definitely not strange for this type of year.
Sure.
But there's just like a little bit of a sadness. Like it's like when you go and we as normal people in the real world go and you go visit a memorial or a battlefield or something like that may be beautiful now, but there's just kind of an air of something great has been lost here. That's a weight to the place that you see kind of across the lake a little bit. You see, kind of not straight across, but like down a little bit. You can see a couple what look like spires that are very obviously crumbling, missing tops and things like that. So that is the ruins that you talked about previously, and so that is kind of what you're seeing. And there's just this quiet and the sound of lapping water on the edges of the lake. The trees in the forest are behind you. There's some hills. You've crossed a little bit of hills, but definitely not mountains or anything. So what was it that you saw by the edge of the lake that if you hadn't been like prepared, or if you hadn't been in as good a state of mind as you were in, it would have definitely caused some dread?
I think the fog and just the peaks of the ruins at a distance are suddenly interrupted by 3 corvids just taking flight, having been picking at something that was alive on the shore that is now decaying there. And the whole thing just sets a tone of reminding us of what we saw on the road and all of the other kind of ominous things that have been going on. And then to have it painted with this decay behind it as well. It's very somber.
Yeah, absolutely. Do any of you have superstitions regarding like birds or things like that at all? Specifically like ravens and crows and things like that? Or no,
think
that's not.
so,
That's
but
okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I think like flying things are kind of a problem, right? Like just generally, right? I don't know if it's ever been discussed in the actual lore of this universe, but like
Hannar can have whatever feelings
Cool.
about whatever he wants.
no, but I mean like I feel like it was probably something that was sort of passed down to him in childhood. Like things that fly have danger because there's a whole amount of space above where we can interact that they can visit and we cannot. So there's something unusual and dangerous about them.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's probably a little nervous about when there's a collection of birds or anything like that. You know, one or whatever, it's no big deal. You know, obviously, anybody that travels on the surface world sees birds occasionally or hears them. But when several of them all take flight at once and there's kind of that rustle and the noise of them taking off, especially if they're cawing and that kind of thing, like I think he probably gets a little more nervous than normal.
Yeah,
But-
makes sense.
I think Aerlind also thinks of the tales of them being agents of greater powers, both for good and ill. You know, the seabirds being, you know, the call home and things like that. But also further inland, they do have a history of being, you know, agents of higher powers.
I'm going to add just a little bit there. When you get a little bit closer, you can see that there are some deer that have died by the edge of the water. And there happen to be 4 of them that are there. And they've obviously been dead for a while. There's no signs necessarily of like danger or anything like that. It seems like a fairly natural thing. But the fact that there's like 4 of them also just kind of like, oh, I don't like that omen. That's not good or happy.
Does it seem like they came to the lake to drink and it caused them to die?
Possibly.
Okay.
You
I'm
you
not
can't
gonna
tell.
make
They're so picked at. Like
Sure.
if they'd been killed by a predator at this point, there's so much that's gone of them. You probably wouldn't be able to tell. So it's not like there's these pristine, unharmed deer that are laying there like they died from drinking. Does that make sense?
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, who knows what has happened since, but it's enough that I'm wary and I'm probably not going to drink water from the lake.
Runa's also telling her horse not to drink the water from the lake.
Okay.
Don't drink that.
I put some beer in its oat bag. You'll be all right.
Liquid oats.
All right. So what would you like to do now?
There, he's
What does the
chopping
lake
down
look like?
trees.
Ask a
As
little
far
more
as like, they went out into the lake. Is there any shape or something out in the water that we can perceive from where we are, where they might have gone, or maybe they're floating out there, or
not that you can see.
Yeah.
There's the mists in the middle of the
Yeah,
lake.
yeah.
So if they're there, you can't see them from here.
absolutely.
If they went across the lake, who knows where they
Sure.
are? That sort of thing.
Chopping wood then.
Yeah. I'll get to it.
Okay. Let's go ahead then, and who's helping build these ships? Or not ships. I mean, maybe with you here, who knows?
I'll help out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not expecting like, okay, cool, let's deploy sails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's one ship right.
Yeah.
yes. So why don't we roll craft?
Cool.
And let's have everybody who's helping go ahead and roll that.
Okay.
Oh.
Ooh.
I'm going to spend that hope point that I do on the regular, because that's a bad roll.
Okay.
Is it 12 the Gandalf rune?
Yes.
Okay.
It's an automatic success, isn't it?
Yep.
For like a
I
skill
got
check.
a Gandalf rune and a 6.
Yeah, I got a
Oh,
Gandalf and a
dang.
5. So
Crushed it.
hey,
Nice.
Can
Okay,
follow
so
directions.
Yeah.
very nice. You're great at shipbuilding too,
Great
or
at-
raft building.
As long as
I
Aerlind tells me what to
didn't
do.
succeed,
okay.
and I got the Sauron eye.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Goodness.
Okay.
Chopping down trees near this lake is a bad idea.
All right, so what is the plan here? Are you making one craft? Are you making multiple?
I think the goal is to make one that we can all safely be on.
Okay.
What'd you get?
So we had
Kai?
one.
I succeeded, but only because I'm an elf.
Yes.
Oh, right. You burned that hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have an amazing success with the Tengwar ruin, and the opposite. Let me think about this for a moment. Okay.
Now, just to be clear, I got a Gandalf too. We got 2 Gandalf runes.
No, yeah, the
So-
3 of you succeeded.
All right, cool.
So you absolutely are able to. I would say it takes you about a day,
Okay.
but make a sturdy, excellent craft that you can all be in. What's going to happen as you go across this lake is Dave is going to roll his feet die. And this is something I'm totally making up as I go.
Love this.
So if you roll, we'll say, Gandalf rune is an even number, and the Sauron rune is an odd number. So an even number means that the ship is holding together great. An odd number means that something in the part that you helped make, Dave, or
Right.
Hannar, isn't quite right.
Oh no.
So it's not going to sink the whole ship immediately, but as you go across the lake, you're going to have
Something's gonna go bad.
maybe not.
Fair enough. 50-50.
Yeah.
As we're working, Aerlind is fully like, if I had all of the right tools and all of everything, and why don't I have just a whole shop? Because then I have to carry the whole shop. And it's just that incessantly for an entire day. Oh no.
So you are on this little
So
craft.
it's
The
the
finest
Sauron eye
dwarven
again.
cut timber.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The finest dwarven cut timber is going to make this ship absolutely perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks amazing. Like even like the beautiful, like it looks like if you were gonna go purchase a good sturdy little fishing boat, this is what it looks like. You're all in it. You like push off. You're like you even have like a little sail to like help direct you across the lake. It's really nice. And you just hear this weird like that sounds like a stomach. It's not supposed to. It's
I
supposed to.
follow you.
Yeah, okay. It's supposed to be like the groan you hear in like a ship movie with like some like when there's just like wood underneath pressure. That's like that isn't a good noise. It's probably a little bit higher pitched than that because it's like a small boat. But yeah, there's definitely something a little wrong. And if you wait a minute, you're starting to notice there's a little bit of water at the bottom of your little vessel.
Uh-oh.
Not a lot, like it's not like spurting out, but it's just my feet are a little wet now.
Aerlind is going to try and just start bailing water with their hands.
You absolutely are at the point where you can bail water.
Yeah. It's not great because there's no bucket. They're
Yeah.
just...
We're gonna say
throwing
at
the
this
water.
point you're probably like 400 yards from shore, so you're not super far.
Yeah.
Meters, sorry, whatever.
It's also just like I think that their ego
Mm-hmm.
needs the boat to not be leaking.
Yeah,
And are we sailing towards the center of the
that's a good question.
of the lake, or are we, which way are we going?
Are we going to the mist or are we going to the ruin?
The ruins.
That's a great question.
I think it might be the ruins.
I feel like once the water starts to...
Why don't we
Veering
pause?
north and-
Yeah.
We're going to. This is still happening. Like you're here. We're gonna rewind to while you were building the ship
Yeah.
when you had an in-character discussion about it, because that would be much more interesting than you just talking about it.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So,
We're like, well, there seems to be a lot of water. Let's go to the ruins.
Yeah.
so you're back the day before
Sure.
while you're building. So let's have the discussion about where you want to go.
Using a like knife to just like kind of lathe the wood. It's very bad.
And I just keep chopping down another tree and then dragging it over.
So, lake, all there, to the ruins.
Well, the ruins look a lot more more solid than that fog that definitely doesn't eat bones. To me,
These bones are still here.
those bones are still here. The fog's all the way over there, though.
Sorry, Hannar.
Well, if we get over there and there's bones, then we'll know it's not the fog.
That's very true.
But over here, these are just dead. They're not in the fog.
I feel like the ruins might give us a better vantage point towards whatever is
You just
hiding
want to
in
climb
that
that tower,
fog.
don't you?
I do want to climb the tower, yes. I feel like we can do that and check out the mist.
I also do agree about the vantage point.
Aerlind, do you know if there's anything in the middle of this lake?
Not of any note in my records.
Well, ruins with a tower that we can climb sounds pretty appealing to me.
Maybe a higher view will give us some more information.
And perhaps they did leave from there, because they didn't leave from here unless they killed these deer and left them.
Seems unlikely.
Very.
Yeah, maybe we'll find some evidence of who was here and when.
Indeed.
Come to think of it, might be a better place to tether our horses too.
True, a little bit more covered.
Yeah, and maybe we should ride, follow the shore south and east, and then build our vessel there.
Well, it's another day's ride at least to go around the horn of the lake.
Yeah.
Well, we've already started on this boat. Let's
All
take
right.
that tomorrow.
All right.
We'll send the
So-
horses home.
To the ruins then. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yes?
I don't feel comfortable with them staying here with the
No, and
With
carcass
the
as
water.
well.
they're not going to fit on this ship.
Oh, no?
No.
You ask with such like sincerity. Or,
I feel like
Like,
Runa
oh, we're
just
not
expected
planning
that
for
Aerlind
that?
is building a ship
yeah.
for us and
Sure,
the
for that
party.
the animals can
If
join
the
us.
whole like framework of the ship is laid out on the ground on the shore, and they just look at the shape that's like maybe 10 feet long, and then looks at the 3 full-size horses, and then back at Runa.
You're just like,
Stack them.
no.
I think Hannar is fully expecting like a 40-meter yacht. At this point, like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great. Like, I'm not a boat guy, but it's gonna be delightful. Little did I know.
Sabotage from within.
I think if we're gonna build a boat and sail to the ruins, I don't know if I feel like. I suppose we don't want the horses drinking from the lake, but I also don't know how I feel about sending them home. Because if we have to come back and ride,
I mean, I told Amanita not to drink the lake water. I trust her.
Aerlind continues to stare at you and then back at the framework of this ship and then back to you, Runa, and just is trying to understand the logic and is really struggling and just goes back to scraping the wood.
yeah, I think I've got enough water to leave Cheese at least for a day or two.
Well, I'm fine with leaving them here. I agree. We might find something that we need to leave in a hurry, but maybe we leave them loosely tied to something so that if things got to be a problem, the horses could escape.
You could just tell her to untie herself.
Oh, she doesn't have hands.
Aerlind goes back to scraping wood. Incredible.
All right. But I think it's we leave the horses.
Yep.
Sail over to the ruins.
Yep.
So we can do kind of like a compromise where you have like these poles and ropes that you can put in the ground, where
Make a
it'll
little
keep the
corral.
horses kind of together. If anything really spooked them, it would not hold them in. They could just
Yeah.
bust through it in a second.
Sure,
But for the
sure.
most part, they're like, okay. So they're pretty chill. Horses, for the most part, are like, oh, I'm not supposed to do that. Most horses, some horses are. But so it's travel friendly and easy enough to kind of keep them in this area. But they'd be able to get away if something bad happens. So that'll be our compromise there.
Sounds
Okay.
good. So yeah, we're headed for the we're rolling to the ruins.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you're sailing across back to
Yeah.
the middle of the lake, which is now taking on, your little boat is now taking on water.
As the boat is all laid out before we set sail, Aerlind dramatically pulls out this kind of triangle of fabric, just like, haha! And it, for the average person, it just looks like fabric, but it's actually this beautiful elven sail that weighs nothing because it's an elven sail, obviously. And like rigs the whole thing up, just like, haha! Little like ta-da unfurling.
Beautiful.
Nice.
This is amazing.
I didn't expect that.
You made a whole boat.
It is my whole life's endeavor.
I know, but like with minimal things.
Well, you all helped,
That's true.
and the horses watched.
They did?
The horse is like, that's a nice boat.
Good job. They're all nodding at each other.
Just, boat.
So this is a very large lake. If you look at it,
Oh, yeah.
scale on the map, it is like basically a hex across.
Yeah.
So it's most of the days, like to sail across it.
Whew.
You are sped up by your beautiful elven sail, so we'll say it's about half a day. It's like depending on the winds. We'll see how it goes with Dave's continued rolls.
Listen, it's not my fault.
I mean, you're a dwarf. You should be good at making things.
We've gone over this.
It's very in
Clearly, I talked
character.
about that in character.
Yeah, I love that the dice know that you're
The
character.
dice clearly understand.
Yes. So as you continue, we're not going to do the full journey basics for this because I feel like this is a little bit of a special situation. So I'm going to have us go ahead and roll travel. Who's ever guiding us? Actually, you know what? Let me look at the skills real quick. I feel like this would be a little different.
Can I pitch you something?
Yes, please do.
May I guide us using lore and my astrolabe?
Yes, I will say that is fine. And I'm going to have Dave, you're going to be rolling the event regardless of.
Okay.
We're not going to roll the different guide or jobs for the journey. So you're going to roll to keep us on course, and you're going to roll to see how long the boat holds up. And we're going to do 3 of these on our trip across the lake. We're only going to roll 1 of you, but I feel like Dave needs to roll like 3 times to see how the boat goes.
Absolutely. the night before when we're camped out, because you said we took the whole day. Are we sailing at night or are we sailing during the day?
I was
We should
thinking.
start in the
Yeah,
morning.
you started in
Yeah.
the morning. I was thinking.
Okay, so the night before, Aerlind takes the astral about to try and chart the course across the lake.
And you can see the ruins. Like it's not
Yeah,
so far that you like can't.
it's also like testing the wind,
Yeah.
and doing the whole like,
Exactly.
I know what I'm doing.
Yes.
Honestly, if I don't succeed at this, I don't know what to say. I do have 1 rune, so I did roll a 6. Yeah, that's definitely I succeed. That's a wait, is that a 7 or a 1? That's a 7. Wow.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Holy smokes, that is.
It's in your wheelhouse.
I have to know what this number is now.
Yeah,
'cause
no,
it's
for
so
sure.
big.
Beautiful number.
23.
Ah!
Holy smokes.
Great success at
Boom.
23.
Like the wind, it seems almost like does your bidding. Like from other other people's perspective, it's like, oh, that must be elven magic. Like, the magic sail, it tells the wind to blow this way. In reality, it's just you are incredibly skilled at this. You have spent many mortal lifetimes, like, just perfecting this thing that you love so much. But, Hannar, please roll a feat die.
Just a single feat die.
I mean, if you have another thing to pitch me, but I feel like it's just luck about your past.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay. If you want to roll craft again.
Well, I mean, that gives me a little bit of.
Yeah, it gives you a little more.
I should try to patch up the boat as we go.
Well, patching up, everyone can roll that when the time comes to it, but hopefully we don't get that far.
All right, 15, 16
Okay.
on the craft.
Nice.
That's okay.
That's good. So you make it.
Great
So,
success.
Still a little wet.
Oh, it is. I do have a 6. So
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's still a little wet, but it seems to be holding up. So, nice. Very good. We're gonna...
Didn't have time to season the wood.
Aerlind actually gets really quiet once we cast off because they've made many ships, but they haven't actually been in many.
Oh, that's neat. All right, so are you both lookouts? What are the two of you doing?
I was gonna say, since I'm usually the hunter, can I fish?
Oh, sure.
In
Yeah,
the
let's
lake.
get used to that. Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, in that case, I'll be lookout. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. I don't like being on the water. Like even this kind of fairly calm lake. So I'll do my best, but I'm kind of like on the edge, just like
Ooh,
not doing so
you
good.
get motion sickness?
Yeah. My Hobbit feet are used to being on the ground,
Okay.
not so much on the rocky,
Okay.
bobbing
You do
boats.
not have to look at if you don't want. If you are so ill that you feel like you wouldn't be motivated to do such a thing, that is totally fine too.
Yeah. I think I'm more the latter than
Okay.
than the former.
So you're kind of just like, okay,
yeah, just
look at the horizon. They say, oh, it's foggy over there. Okay, look at the horizon. Okay.
I look at the tower over
Yeah.
the mist, and then 3 more crows fly up. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. And all right.
Do
So
I,
I'm gonna have you roll-
for hunting, for fishing.
Yeah, roll hunting. Go for
Okay.
it.
Let's give it a try. Let's see what's in this lake,
Yeah.
and probably not eat it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want yours to drink the water, so.
Ooh, heck yeah. I got. Oh, that's on the feet die.
Oh yeah. That's okay.
Fives. I got 16, so I success.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you're able to catch fish. They look fine. They don't seem to look weird. They have the right number of
Smells
anatomy thing. They smell fine.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna have you all
Save
roll
'em.
awareness, please.
Whoa.
Oh,
That's
You
a
wrecked it.
19 and an extraordinary
yeah,
success.
that's great because I got an eye.
I succeeded.
Okay.
Oh no.
Succeeded.
I
Succeeded.
did roll a rune,
Failed, but nothing bad happened.
but I
Okay.
also got an eye.
Okay. All right. So the eye counts as 0, but it
Mhm.
does have misfortune. And you made it otherwise though. No, you failed. Okay. Everything's fine. Like you're just sailing along, no problem. The mist comes a little bit though. Like it's kind of starts to come between you and the ruins that you're headed to. You think you're gonna be okay with your astrolabe still, but it just makes it harder to see. And it just seems like the mist from the center of the lake is kind of spreading a little bit as the day wears on, which isn't necessarily strange, but it's just not helpful. You, as you're kind of hanging onto the sides, also your head's kind of on this edge of the boat. You don't feel good. You're looking at this annoying birds, and you just think you see something in the mist, where there's water, and then it's gone and you don't see it anymore.
Oh, okay. All right.
And you kind of get a glimpse. You think you see movement too, Runa,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't get a good look at anything.
Okay.
And you kind of hear a little bit of a splash.
Oh, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How big was this thing that I saw?
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Yeah. Okay.
And you're not. You haven't spent time at the ocean or
Yeah.
anything like that, have you?
No.
Okay. So it seems a little odd. Like you just. Maybe that's normal for water things. Maybe there's big water things in water all the time. It's normal-ish, maybe.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
The first thing that popped into my head is it's a numinesci.
Oh.
You can push the button. I deserve it.
X-carding it despite how delightful that is. I'm sorry. That is hilarious and not in tone. I appreciate it, though, Dave. Nice. All right, so that'll be... I'm going to have you do one more roll, Dave.
Oh, good.
Hold
This will be
together.
the last one to see how the boat holds together.
Craft again?
Crafting is fine.
Okay. I didn't make it.
Okay. So, as you're kind of looking out, Sausage, you kind of see a weird thing, and you see a weird thing too, and you're like, oh, that's weird. What is that? Suddenly the boat kind of lurches, and like a lot more water is in the bottom of the boat
No.
very quickly. And it's filling up a little bit faster. You're pretty close to the other edge now. You're probably like, we'll say like 300 yards. Like, some of you could swim that.
Bailing water as fast as they can.
Yeah. But yeah, the boat is definitely has like some structural problem that should not be like that.
Aerlind frantically is talking about all kinds of ship mechanical terms and bailing water, but mostly talking to themselves about the ship.
The water still feels pretty deep from here, right? Like it still
Oh, it
seems...
is very deep.
deep. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, this is kind of like a mountain lake where it's like very steep and
Yeah.
very deep.
I think since the boat lurched and it feels like something touched the boat, Runa's drawing her sword.
Okay.
She's just like staring at the water. Like, come at me, bro.
Are you going to fight the leak?
Something touched the boat.
Water.
Not water and bigger than a fish. I saw something move.
And my hand's gonna creep to my spear, which is kind of down on the, down on the bottom by my side.
And she's just not looking at you, staring at the water. Like,
Hannar,
the
what are you
sword.
doing?
I think I'd probably take my helmet off and use it to start bailing water out.
All right. Okay. So, you're bailing, you're drawing your sword.
I'm menacing the water.
I'm looking at the water. I'm
Okay.
looking at the water where I saw that shape go. Bloop.
Okay, that's off to the, like, that's not under the boat. It's
Oh,
like
okay,
kind of
sure.
off, like, to the side.
Okay, yeah, I'm still looking out there.
I don't know what the left side of a boat is, but
Port.
Port. Yes, it's off to port, and it's not like really close by. It's like
Sure.
far enough off in the mist that like maybe you saw it. Maybe
Yeah,
you
you know, I'm
Yeah.
looking out for. I'm mumbling to myself too. Get my bones today, me. Miss, no bones for you today, miss.
Yeah. So far, the mist is not eating your bones.
Okay, great.
This is an important
Excellent.
detail. But your boat is sinking.
I feel like that's going to be the first thing you tell us when it starts to happen is, well, guess what? The fog started to eat your bones. I knew it!
Reward.
Grab the cask.
Quickly!
Oh, that's so much you want to do. You do not want to inhale.
Oh, sure, the
Oh
bone
my
eating.
God.
Yeah, no.
Um,
Okay, all right.
No, that's very good.
Back to
Yeah,
tone.
this is
Sinking
how-
boat.
How fast is versus the speed that we are going, which I know will get slower as there's more
Yeah.
water.
Mhm.
How fast are we traveling? Will we make it before we sink at the rate that we are traveling?
You, like your elven calculations,
Yes.
get you. You're probably gonna get within 100 or like 50 or 100 yards of shore, but by the time your ship goes down.
Okay, then Aerlind changes gears very abruptly, does this calculus
Yeah.
in his head, stops, pulls down the sail, takes the rope that they're using to hold the sail up, ties it around their waist, hands it to Runa, and dives into the lake.
Okay.
Oh.
And is going to start swimming ahead
Okay.
and try and pull the boat.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent. What is
Okay.
the status of everyone else's swimming ability? Just for
Is that
No reason.
athletics?
Sure, probably. Yeah, the swim, run, leap, everything. Yes, athletics.
Not terrible.
Yeah, I got 2 pips.
I got some. I feel like there's got to be some kind of negative for wearing a lot of armor pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I can't say I remember reading that in the book, but
It feels.
story-wise, it feels weird that I'd be like, oh, I'm wearing a whole bunch of
bunch
chainmail.
of armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, as a ex-swim team, yeah, that's not a great idea. But this is also kind of like an adventure, so we'll see.
Sure. Like, I don't think I'm gonna sink like a stone. I feel like I'm not gonna be great at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will probably take some endurance hits for that as well, is probably what's going to end up happening.
Yeah.
So for now, though, it might be possible that Aerlind is going to be able to get you to shore with their help. We'll see. I'm going to... so you have the sail wrapped around yourself?
No, just
Oh.
using the rope and has like reefed the pulled the sail down, put it back in the bag,
Oh, okay.
and is just using the rope
The
that
rope.
they use
Okay.
to tie the whole thing
All right.
together.
So please roll me athletics.
I've made many jokes about Aerlind's physical fitness, everyone. Just to be very clear. Hey, not gonna make it, but I'm not gonna spend a hope for this. This is silly. The ship can sink. Yeah, that's only an 11, but with the 6 on one of my die, which is so annoying. It's the second time.
So close.
I know it's the second time.
What would a success be? How would it have to be success?
For athletics, I would need 4 more.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
Unfortunately, that's probably not gonna get
so.
us there.
I'm gonna give you a little bit because you got a 6. So what happens is the weight of you not being in the ship anymore actually helps it like a little bit. Are you continuing to bail? Hannar,
Does it feel like it would be more advantageous to keep bailing water out, or would it be more advantageous to pull out my axe and use it like a paddle?
Ooh.
Oh.
I think that decision would be based on what Sausage and Runa are doing.
Well, I'm holding a rope that's tied to an elf, so I'm
Right.
currently the yoke of this
Okay.
vehicle.
At this point, I'm not feeling it, but like I'm not feeling great. But if Hannar needs help, like paddling, I'll paddle.
Yeah. I feel like.
I'll have to use like my arms or something because I just have my spear.
Well, I mean, I feel like no matter how seasick you were feeling, you're going to prioritize
the
the water
desperation,
filling the boat. Whether you want to paddle or whether you want to bail water, it's up to you.
You know what? If you don't mind giving me your helmet, I'll bail
Oh yeah.
while you paddle. Okay, all
Okay.
right.
I'll
I can just
pass
reach
it
a
off
sick hand over, grab it, and yeah.
All right.
for the water.
Right. Yeah, of course. For the water.
Yeah. Can't have
As I pull it away from my face.
Hobbit sick in your
right.
helmet.
Mm.
Okay, we're gonna Runa. Obviously, you can hold onto a rope. We're not gonna have you roll for that.
Okay.
I am going to have Hannar and Sausage roll athletics to see how quickly you can bail and how strongly you can paddle with your axe.
Oh, dang it.
I didn't make it.
Nope. Not even
Oh,
close.
no.
Nothing
Yeah.
bad happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much did you miss it by?
But, 4.
Oh, okay.
4 again.
You can also spend hope. Don't forget you can.
After we roll?
I'm gonna let it happen.
Okay.
Well, sure.
We also have fellowship points.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the fellowship points can refresh the hope, but you can't directly.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of Loremasters I've seen just let you do that.
Hey!
Hey!
Okay.
All right.
Which is why I don't feel
So,
too
like,
bad about letting you just
I
do hope.
start and I've never paddled with an axe before. Like that's not a thing. So like I kind of had to
It's also very
figure out-
heavy, like, to do that.
well and
Yeah.
figure out like, oh okay. Normally axes you want to swing it so the sharp part hits things. This is more I want the not sharp part to hit the water. Okay, I got this. Took me a minute, but then I pulled it out. So I made it by 1.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, I failed by 9.
Oh, okay.
Oh, goodness.
Woo-wee.
Yeah.
Water
Yeah.
is not your friend.
Like,
Yep.
scooping up this water and dumping it over the side, this
Accident-
repetitive up and down motion,
Oh
just,
no.
oh, this is not helping. You're not feeling very good. So I'm not going to narrate what happens to you. You can decide what you'd like, but you are not feeling good whether you stop, whether you continue, whatever you'd like.
I think I lose control of it so that I'm actually dipping the helmet in the lake water and accidentally bailing more in
Yeah.
as I try to scoop them out.
That's fantastic. Okay. And this is why you always let your players come up with the consequences, because they come up with things you were never going to be smart enough to come up with.
Poor
That's
sausage.
fantastic.
I feel like Runa will have like looped the rope around herself and is still just like sword out, holding the rope in like the front of the boat.
All right, so I'm going to just like paint this picture for everyone.
Please.
Like
So this beautiful
feet
lake.
braced on the gunwale, like
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we've got like this 10-foot kind of like small like fishing type vessel, but like much more elegant than that. That has a small mast up the middle, which is now have no sail on it. It's just there. We have at the front in the water about, we'll say, like 15 feet off the bow, an elf just like swimming fairly well. Like, you can't live for that many hundreds of years and not know the basics of swimming. No one would look at you and think that you are an accomplished swimmer. But that's how you swim. Like, yeah. And the rope is taut. It is wrapped around you. On the front, on the actual bow of the ship, is this warrior with a sword drawn, with a rope tied around her, with her foot braced against the front, looking like just a figurehead about to jump into battle. Like, anyone in any type of war vessel would just like be like, okay, just like that. Wait, everyone carve that and put that on the front of my boat. Just a warrior goddess incarnate, drawn and just standing there,
Basically holding me.
holding.
Holding me. I'm not really moving.
Yeah, that's great. You're moving a little.
Looks majestic, not doing much.
Not helping. A little bit behind that, off to the port side of the boat, is a pretty muscular hobbit holding a fine dwarven helm, quickly grabbing as much lake water as possible and dumping it into the boat. They look a little green, like their eyes are closed a lot of the time, like they're trying not to like see the up and down. And then I'm going to say you're on the other side of the ship, Hannar.
Yeah.
Not seeing what poor Sausage is doing. There is a fine dwarf in full armor with his grand battle axe, like trying as best as possible and actually doing a pretty good job of like rowing and using their axe as an oar and pushing the ship forward. Wow,
I want
that
a
is
painting
amazing.
of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
What an image.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the crossing the Delaware
Yes.
paintings.
Yeah.
And around all of this is like this like lovely clear lake water and like this kind of rolling fog that's kind of like coming around as the background. We're gonna say that all your efforts have helped, but you're not gonna quite make it to shore. We're going to have that dramatic like sinking of the ship as it's like, I don't know, like we'll say like 25 yards offshore. So far enough for it to be deep enough to drown in,
Yep.
but not so deep that it's like hopeless. So it's probably about 10 feet deep here.
When it starts to really get low in the water and you can see that it's gonna go. At some point, it's gonna go. Aerlind stops swimming. It comes back, doesn't even get into the boat because he could just reach over the side and grab anything that was in there. Can you get to shore, Sausage? Are you...
I nod my head weakly, like I think I can make it.
All right.
Do you want me to tie this rope to you?
I nod my head weakly.
Ties the rope.
I take the rope. Yeah.
I guess we leave it here.
I think this is where the boat lives now.
Ugh.
We're going to say that it's very obvious that the part of the boat that Hannar kind of like worked on the most is sort of splitting apart.
Oh.
So it's sort of like from the back of the boat Because I feel like you probably did like the bow that's like much more curved and like complex shapes. It's just like still perfect, but it's sort of like splitting apart in the back, slowly splitting to the front. So there are pieces that are kind of like gonna be floating once it actually sinks.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Hannah.
Yes.
Oh.
You got this, friend?
I'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll be fine.
Okay.
I'm out of character. Like, he's super disappointed that the back of the boat is the part that has a
Aw.
problem. But yeah.
I think Runa's gonna make sure that everyone goes ahead because she is overconfident in her abilities and feels like she's the best swimmer, probably.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it probably starts off with like he gets in the water and like starts doing the treading thing, and then sort of figures out kicking and pushing and that.
There's also like floating bits of the boat.
Yeah, he probably like grabs a hunk of wood and then keeps slapping it into the water and pushing himself along.
Okay.
That kind of a thing.
Okay.
Athletics, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, we're swimming, huh?
It's time to swim.
We're gonna swim better this time.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll play that game.
Oh, okay.
And I got a 6
Okay. Great.
with the rune.
No.
No.
Okay.
Not by much, but I
Okay.
rolled 2 6 again. I rolled another 6 and I still fail.
Okay.
This is the third one.
Oh no. I succeed.
Okay.
I missed it by 4.
Ooh.
no.
Okay.
Can I spend my rune to like help someone?
You can spend a hope to help someone, but I'm
Okay.
going to give you, because you got the 6, which is an extra success. You can absolutely, without spending any hope, grab one of them and help them,
Well, I'd probably grab sausage.
since he's kind of nearby.
Yeah.
Okay. But
and,
yeah.
and he seems to really be having troubles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
super.
So I-
So you're able to, like, with your, your bit of the boat that you're kind of holding on and kind of countering the weight of your armor with, you're kind of able to, like get, share that with them a little bit and, like,
Sure.
get up to shore. And it is not, I mean, this is still, you're not in danger of drowning, but this is really embarrassing.
Yeah.
Your boat fell apart.
Well, I think Aerlin's starting to get in his own head about
Yeah.
like making a boat for the first time in a long time, and just like all of the factors of I'm doing this in front of my friends for the first time, and I think it's all just kind of humbling, and it all catches up.
I'm gonna say that, like, while, like, you have this moment, this, like, dramatic cinematic moment where you, like, are kind of, like, sinking in the water. You're not in danger. It's 10 feet deep.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you hit the bottom, you push back up. Like, if you have to, you can just kind of,
Bounce up.
bounce all the way to shore. But you kind of have this thought and this, like, vision of other elves on ships and what it's like. This is the first time, like, you've built a ship and sailed on a ship, and like, there's a strange synchronicity between, you making ships for other people to sail off on, and you never know. Like, do they make it? Do they not make it? Like, you trust as an elf that they do make it to Valinor. But, like, what if you failed before? Like, maybe the ships that you've built before also, like, had flaws like this, and so I feel like that's going to be
And
something.
one particular ship
Yeah.
begins to like
Yep.
come back in their head over and over and over again until like Runa, if you're waiting, they are fully still in the water, just kind of like treading
Yeah.
absently for a moment.
I will spend a hope if I have to, but Runa would absolutely grab Aerlind and heave you up and be like, "Come on, friend, you got this."
Yeah, no,
It's
you don't.
okay.
You don't have to spend a rune for that, or spend a hope for that. But that's kind of like the toll of you failing that roll, because an elf's not going to drown in 10 feet of water. I don't care who they are. But I love that Dave is now enough of a Tolkien nerd that, oh man, that's like the boats are sinking on the way to Valinor. That's horrifying. Like you like gasped and like
super heavy.
yeah.
Well, it's super
dark.
heavy. Like directed at Aerlind. Like,
Yeah.
oh damn, that's
Yeah.
brutal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Such a good influence on you, Dave. Okay. All right. So we are at 9:55. So I'm going to have us stop right here. So,
Real quick,
oh.
can I add something?
Yeah, do it.
So you haul me to the shore,
Yeah.
and when we get there, and I catch my breath, because I failed my roll. I cry out, "Oh no!" And I look at you, and I say, "Hannar, I'm sorry.
What? You're all right.
My
isn't it?
hands are empty."
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
And I look at you, and you
Oh, that's
see my
awesome.
face, my lip
awesome.
starts to quake, and I
No.
drop your dwarven helm somewhere in that lake.
All right.
And as the
I love
fog
it.
kind of like crouches in, I just kind of on my knees. I'm just kind of in despair on the shore there.
That's awesome.
That is so great and sad and amazing. Oh my gosh, I love you all so much. All right,
Yeah.
and with that moment, that heartbreaking moment.
I think Hannar's probably like,
Yep, and that's where we
Yeah,
end.
and we're still splashing our way
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Very good.
that's rad.
So good. All right, so that is it for this week. So good. Be thinking about how you want to spend your points that you earned this week.
You get
3
3
and
points,
3.
right?
Also, I believe while we were journeying across the lake, I forgot to give you some fatigue for that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we
Oh,
missed.
right.
I think we missed the fatigue from our
From the
yeah.
second
So the
stretch.
the
Yeah.
second stretch, the despair. You were supposed to take 2 fatigue for that one.
Okay.
Oof.
The one
Oh,
that was
okay.
supposed to be despair, but ended up not being despair with the crows and all that stuff.
Right.
And then I'm gonna say I'm gonna say
Lake's
2
enough.
fatigue for your trip across the lake.
Yeah, that's.
I was
fair.
gonna do 1 for your like, hey, we're sailing on a boat, and 1 for crashing at the end. So
2 fatigues just for crashing.
yeah, yes,
Yeah, that's a little traumatic.
Yeah.
yes, for
I
sure.
aged 50
Yeah.
years in that one scene.
Seriously.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So, anyone have any questions or anything? All right.
We'll do an advancement at the top of next session.
At the top of the next
Sounds
session.
good.
That way people can kind of like
Awesome.
think about it and figure out what they want. I'm so excited to see what happens. Thank you so much for joining us for session 4 of the Unsung Tales. I'd like to thank our chat mods, James V, and everyone for all their hard work. Thank you to our amazing Patreons who keep us ad-free and independent. It's because of you that we are able to play games we enjoy without having to worry about publishing companies, system popularity, any of that stuff. And you can join their heroic ranks at happyjacks.org/Patreon. And let's go around and reintroduce our players. And if you have anything to pitch, do it now. We're gonna start with Dave.
Nah. Hi everybody. I have been Kadave. And yeah, I'm just excited to be back and diving back into this whole world. Yeah, I'll be back next time we play next week.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Hi everybody, I'm Jay. Thanks for joining us. And I played a sad sausage. So, yeah, looking forward to see where this goes next week.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I've been Kai, Aerlind, your local shipwright who did not do their best shipwriting today. In fact, I believe we ship-wronged. There it is. We're in a game, I can ruin the tone now. You can find me on every other Saturday, so not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday over on Matihi's channel. You can find this info on my Twitter. I am Estelle of Imladris on all social media platforms. I will be on Matihi's channel with What We Do in the Shallows, a 5e pirate adventure where I play another elf, a very different elf, still with a lot of connection to the sea. I don't know how this happened.
Yeah.
And then you can also find me in a week, announced today, are my podcast that I've been working on. We have the Lore Brewery is launching Far, Far Away, a 5e fairy tale adventure. It is our first long-form campaign. We've actually been recording it for quite a while. I'm so excited for everyone to see it and come and see what happens in a world where fairy tales are real, even when the stories themselves don't always end happily ever after.
Awesome. That sounds right. I'm Sam. I have played Runa, our friendly neighborhood chaos monster. You can find me on the internets at Red Pandroid and here on Mondays.
And I'm Kimi. I've been your Loremaster for this game. You can find me here every Monday with this game and every Friday for our advice show. We join us next Monday at 7 p.m. For our next session to find out what happens with all these amazing things. If you want to catch up on past episodes, you can visit happyjacks.org/unsung tales. And if you want to find all our other IPs on the Happy Jacks network, visit happyjacks.org. And yeah, thank you all so much. If you want to find my stuff in particular, I'm designing a bunch of games. You can find them at goldenlassogames.com. I should have done that earlier. I forgot this part. And yeah, and we'll see you next week. Thank you all for joining us.
Bye.
Night, everybody.
Good night.